And here we go. All right, now I'm actually not going to be playing on this account today. I'm going to get off of this account, but it's almost 4 o'clock and the server resets at 7. So I do need to do a couple of things here before I leave. I want to make sure that during the stream, I actually complete all my dailies and stuff. I've got most of them locked away. How are you doing on your dailies today, son?
Wait a second. A raid stream where you play Raid Shadow Legends?
I never do. And as soon as
come on, you're just upending the entire thing.
As soon as the viewers jump in, I'm gonna get distracted by chat and nothing's gonna happen here. So I gotta go check my dailies, make sure I click all my red dots, get everything done. I just barely got the Forge Pass complete. Man, the holidays just kicked my butt there. I did in fact get the fusion done though.
You did, nice.
Yeah. It was actually not that hard, surprisingly. All right, so I need to unlock a mastery for a champion. Let's do that. We can do that right now, right? Sure, let's go ahead and... Let's do that. Crypt keys and faction wars. What faction crypts do we have going on today? High Elf and Ogren. I made some progress in terms of, I pulled Ogrens, but I don't think I've actually, I haven't leveled anybody up yet. Okay, so that's unfortunate. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of leveling. And then here in the High Elves, I am actually currently leveling 2 more champions. I'll have to see which one I want to bring in. I got to get my Apothecary going. Actually, I've got 3 more champions. I'll have to see how these champions are built. I don't even know how they're built. But okay, so let's get all this done. Let's go farm some campaign, and then we'll start talking to people and see how they're doing. We need the High Elves and the Ogrens. And the Ogrens, I think, are in the vault. There's one. There's the other. When you have a giant shard pull like we had this past weekend, like on an account, like I have so many champions that I need to level up for faction crypts, and so many good champions that could potentially be 6-starred now. You know, like for various purposes, you really have to go through and figure out what it is you want on the account next. And that's something that I've done a little bit of, but I've been so busy with so many things. I mean, the video that we dropped today. So we just dropped our second video. And those 2 videos took a couple of days to put together, and then took like 10 hours or 12 hours or something to shoot, and then had to be edited, and then we had to do thumbnails and stuff. And so it's like, those were some meaty, kind of hefty videos to do today. And putting out 2-hour-long videos in the same day, that's not our style normally, but it's good. I mean, December 1st is approaching swiftly. We're only a few hours away at this point from No Dime December. So I thought it was important to get those videos out.
Fully agreed.
Ors, let me just say hello to everybody. Ors, hello, Jacob, Kuba, Shooter, Sabik, Burso, Great Dane, and Suzanne Johansson. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Great Dane is back, he says. Will you summon on the 25% tomorrow? Burso says, really good videos. Thanks. John Hodgson, hello. Thanks, Burso. That's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Will you summon on the 25% tomorrow? What is... I have been extremely busy. I do not know what the 25% is. What is that? Oh, 25 times. Okay. Probably not. Probably not. I don't see any reason to do the 25x pulls on free-to-play accounts, really. I mean, my late game account, I could potentially, look at it, and if there was something else going on that coincided, and I could get some legendary tomes or something, in a champion chase, I'll do the examination. I won't just say no chance, but it's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely. I think that realistically, you know, I've talked about this a little bit, and I've made videos about this now, that I think the progressive chance event is both good and bad. It increases your chances from a base chance of 10 times to 15 times, which is an okay improvement. It allows you to pick from a specific pool. It forces you to pick from a specific pool, so that's good and bad. It entices you to spend more money, which is obviously what Plarium is always trying to do. But potentially giving you more value for that money in the long run. But when the starting amount of that value is so low that 25 times nothing still feels like nothing, I don't know if that's completely fair. You know, it really depends where you are in terms of your spending and where you are in terms of the life of your account and, you know, what potential pool they come up with. But in general, as a free-to-play player, I stick with 2 times events or guaranteed champions. Now, the guaranteed champion, the 100 void shards for, what's his face? What's the name of that champion? It's like the other version of Bad Alcazar. I've forgotten his name already. Starts with a V, I think.
I feel like it was like Valkynon or something.
Yeah,
like
Valkynon,
that.
something like that. Valkynon, yeah. That's kind of tough for me to swallow. I kind of like it and I kind of don't. Because those guaranteed champion events they were the initial way that Plarium said, here, you can buy a champion. A void shard is, say, $4. Maybe it's $5. I don't know what it is. So for $500, for somewhere between $400 and $500, you can get this void legendary champion. I mean, it's like, it's good and bad, right? You still get all those pulls. You get them during a 1 times event. You get the guaranteed champion. If you were to pull 100 shards and hit 1 void legendary and it was Valkynon, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. But as a free-to-play player, it would probably take me somewhere in the vicinity, I want to say, like 15 weeks at least. At least 15 weeks, maybe more like 18 weeks to get 100 void shards. And so I would have to skip multiple 2 times events and just hold on to these shards indefinitely for the hope that I would get a guaranteed champion. So realistically, it is a spender kind of scenario. But that's okay. I mean, I don't mind them having spender scenarios if people feel like the value is good. I don't think the price point makes sense. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that at $4 a shard, $400 a champion, like the relative value compared to what you normally get from Raid, it's not bad. But it's ridiculous to say that a single champion at $400 is not bad value. That's, at least as a free-to-play player, that's how I feel. MZ says, hi all, I also beat the last Bommel on normal today using Lady Annabelle. It took 45 minutes. That's great. That's awesome. Burso says, Sun quietly, I don't know what grain means, but noob crushing pro. Yeah, Sun is in the background just grinding away, making me irrelevant more and more every day. You know, we've had so much going on, Son, that we haven't really gotten to the discussion about what video I'm going to edit.
That's a good point. We haven't. We
got, you know, there was the holidays and then we were trying to get back into the flow of things. And then we have our streams. We now have 3 streams a week. Then we try to get this, this reaction video out for the HH video, which took a lot of effort to get those 2 videos out. And now here we are. And we're actually we're in talks for our first collab. So if you've been wanting me to do a legitimate collaboration with another content creator, there's a good chance, it's not a 100% chance, but a pretty good chance that this is going to happen this weekend. And I'm not gonna give it away. I'll let everybody wait, but hopefully it'll happen this weekend. And if not, maybe it'll happen next weekend. But yeah, one of the content creators, slightly bigger than myself, which is everybody. No, he's bigger than I am. Reached out, very friendly manner, and said, hey, I'd love to do a collab with you. I was like, all right, that's fantastic. So we're going to see if we can make that work.
Yeah, I'll make you edit that one.
Yeah, and I'd have to apologize to my collaborator. Be like, I'm sorry, I'm the one editing this video. All right, so let's see. What do I need here? I just need to get these done, huh? I hate the Hydra key on the advanced quest. It shouldn't be on the advanced quest. It should be on the weekly quest. That's a really simple change. That would be so much better. Just put it on the weekly quest. Let people pick when they want to use their Hydra keys, you know, like don't force them. Like I have to throw away a key now. I have to just go, like, I already threw away one this week because they made me do it. Now I got to throw away another key. So we'll just pick 5. I don't have the time today to do Hydra. I have a live stream. I have another account. Like I had, you know, I have a life. I got to decide what to do. And you're telling me by 7 p.m. today, I have to use a Hydra key. So this is the only way I can use a Hydra key. That doesn't improve player engagement. I just really hate that. All right, so use 3 glyphs. Let's go glyph somebody. Who do we need to glyph? Probably Taragi, right? Yeah, Taragi could use some glyphs. I forget if he's speed tuned. I don't think he's speed tuned. He might be speed. He is. Darn it, he is speed tuned. Okay. Well, we'll do this for now. All right, and we've got to do some faction crypts. So I think I want to get Apothecary in here. But I'm almost tempted to take him to 4 stars. So I do have to build Apothecary. Apothecary doesn't have any gear on. So let's see if we can get him kind of moving. We don't need him to be super, super fast because we already have our other champions kind of built where we need them to be. But if we can get some speed on him, that would be nice. He doesn't need accuracy. Crit rate works fine. Crit rate works fine on Apothecary. I could potentially do that. That's not bad. This might be better on a damage dealer. It's hard to say. We could do defense gloves. Maybe I'll do this. HP, make them survivable, but have crit rate on it. That's not bad. I don't have an HP. Like, I don't have a reason for this to be on anybody else. That's good. That's nice. That's totally fine. That's great. All right. Get a tanky chess piece, maybe. Flat defense, that could work. Another flat defense with HP, this could work. Let's see what this rolls into. Getting the speed rolls today. That's nice. For the last like 3 days, I haven't been getting any speed rolls. That's okay. I don't mind that. Let's do that. That's pretty good. We'll try that one. And now we just need speed boots. What's our crit rate? It's only 20%. So it's not that high. Okay. But we'll go ahead and we'll get him up some speed. Got him to 213 without even trying. That's kind of crazy to me. I might have to swap. Is there anything really good here? Just these. That's the only double. It's the only double roll I've got. So it's nothing crazy. If I needed to move these gloves over to somebody, I probably could. Before I lock in here, let me go check out, see if with Runekeeper Dazdirk, he's got double speed on that glove. And this is 1 more speed, and it's HP. Does it have anything better? No, it doesn't. It loses resist. So it's about the same. It's 1 speed. All right, so that's not really worth worrying about. All right. So now I'm pretty sure it was that. It's probably this. I think it was this. And what was it? This one? Yeah, good. 213. Not too shabby, Apothecary. Let's get him into faction wars. See if we can push this a little bit. Now, eventually, I'll have to make some changes, but I'm trying to get over to my main account. All I'm trying to do is get through my dailies here and get to my main account. All right, so while this runs, I'm going to jump into chat here. Let's see what people are saying. Kuba says, what is a better champ from the new player promo code, Deacon or Wukong? I presume it's Wukong, just want to be sure. I'm actually not sure. If I were starting a new account today and I could choose between those two, that's really tough. That's really tough. Because before it was, you were choosing between Deacon and Deliana, and I went with Deacon on that. I like Deliana. I think she's a good champion. She's going to be powerful early on for you. Having a 5-star champion as opposed to a 4-star champion is a benefit early in the game. But Deacon, in the long run, is a much better champion than Deliana, and it's going to add more value to your account. But now we're talking about Wukong, and Wukong is also better than Deliana. I heard you in the background there. Son, what do you think? Would you go with Deacon or would you go with Wukong?
That's so tough.
That's crazy tough, right?
That's crazy tough. My first instinct was Deacon, but the more that I'm thinking about it, I would probably end up going with Wukong.
So I've heard this argument before. I've heard the argument that you're more likely to pull a Deacon from a shard than a legendary. So even though Deacon might be the better champion for your account, in the long run, you're likely to get a Deacon, say, in the first 6 months of your account, whereas you're not likely to get a Wukong in the first 6 months of your account. Doesn't mean you can't. But did I actually lose that? Okay, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look at these champions real quick. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. In fact, let's ask. Let's see what people think. I'm curious what people think. We're gonna do a poll.
Yeah, I think my thinking is along with shooters on this one. Deacon has things that are replaceable, whereas Wukong is definitely very unique. I know for sure there are places where I was stuck in them. Granted, I would have gotten past them at some point, but Wukong and his passive revivability, that's made a huge difference in so many places. It'd be hard to replace that. Well, you can't replace it.
Yeah, I mean, Wukong is a unique champion. Deacon is a unique champion. They're both unique. There's no champion in the game that does what Deacon does. There are no legendaries that do what he does. There's nobody that does what he does. You know,
but turn meter, speed, there are at least other options out there.
I think that the benefit to Deacon, and this is the way I feel now, having run him as my promo code champion like 3 or 4 times, and also having not done it. Obviously, on my main account, I had to wait to pull a Deacon because he wasn't even a promo code at that point, right? But my feeling is I miss him when he's not on my roster. It's a huge hole. It's a huge hole. It's a huge hole in arena, and it's a huge hole in terms of like wave content, dungeons, the turn meter fill, the turn meter decrease, the drop defense, all on the same turn with the speed aura. And then on top of that, he's got that nice little leech and the double hitter A1. So it's not even like his A1 is a throwaway and you don't care. It's still nice. It's great in clan boss. And in early game clan boss, it can get you 2-3 extra turns, help you progress up those difficulties. And because he's unique, you can't find another champion to do that job. Now, just recently, Sun pulled a Madame Saris, and in fact, so did I. So a Madame Saris is a pretty good replacement for a Wukong. She doesn't do the same things. She's not like a straight up 1-for-1 replacement. But in a lot of cases, she's going to do some of the stuff that you need him to do, like in arena. She's going to remove buffs. She's actually going to give a drop defense, which is really nice. You know, she's got the fears. She gives you a bit of flexibility. His revive on death mechanic, like that's the huge thing that you can't replace with anybody. There's nothing like that in the game. But the buff removal and the damage that he brings, those are the things that you can replace. So it's really hard to say because like I said, if you have Wukong right at the get-go, that 5-star champion is going to be awesome. You're going to have the speed aura in arena at 28%, which is fantastic. You're going to have a buff strip champion right away. You're going to have that revive on death mechanic, which is going to help you in arena and in dungeons. It's going to open up cheese options like Sun loves to do in Doom Tower. So I think I would lean towards Wukong. Not because I think Wukong is the better champion. I don't think he is. I think that Wukong is because he's harder to obtain. But I think I would miss Deacon more. I think if I didn't have Deacon on my roster and I did have Wukong and vice versa, like I would love Wukong, but I would miss Deacon more than I would miss Wukong. So let's see how the poll's doing. 68% for Wukong. Yeah, I think most people are doing that. Are you going to throw Wukong in your Annabelle team? Seems to be the latest team for Bommel. That's a decent option. I should do that. Kuba says, I got Rector and Tyrell from link code, so that's Deacon definitely somewhat taken care of. I'm sorry, decreased defense. Yeah, you have the decreased defense. I don't know that Wukong is much better than Deacon late. He's good, though. He's very, very good. I mean, I think there's an argument to say that Deacon may be the second best epic in the game. Right? I think everybody would assume that Geomancer is the best epic in the game. And I think the second one could be Deacon. Seer has an argument for her. I don't know that there are that many other people in the discussion. Seeker. That's about it. Ugo's good. She's not top 4. Godseeker is very good. I don't think she's the same on level with those top 4. I think I like Godseeker above Ugo, and I think those are definitely in the top 10. I'm not saying they're not very good champions, but if I were just looking at, anyway, let me do this. let me get this managed. Where are my champions? Built. All right, so I guess I'm just not getting through there. Not a huge deal. We'll just do this. Is anybody having trouble with the stream?
Everything looks good on this end.
Okay, I'm getting an error message, but let me. The Peagle says, my heart says Deacon, but my head says Wukong. I'm kind of in the same boat. Deacon doesn't have a place in late game shooter? I disagree. I think he has a great kit for late game. He's really good against Dark Fae. He's good in Gold 5 Arena. You can speed tune him into a clan boss team, an unkillable clan boss team. He's solid against Hydra. I think he's got a great spot at late game. Wukong has a higher ceiling than Deacon. Yeah, in terms of the impact that he makes in a particular place that is endgame, like live arena. Yeah. Yeah. Once you have Lydia, you don't use them anymore. Once you have Lydia, you don't use a lot of champions anymore, you know, and I don't know that that's, you know, like you got to decide where you're going to use your Lydia. I'm not saying that you should use Deacon over Ugo in Hydra. I'm just saying he's good in a Hydra team. Maybe you don't have Ugo. Lou Mac, welcome. Cedric, hey. Ian, got the Peagle, we got Femril, the Mighty Spoons. I will get to my Lady Annabelle comp in a second. I'm just trying to close out my dailies here on my Noob versus Pro account. So what we're going to be doing today in the stream, hopefully, is we're going to get to Lady Annabelle. I don't have her built. I'm going to build her today. I have her masteries. I have her fully ascended 6 stars, level 60. I don't think she has any gear on. And I haven't used her in Bommel before. I use a different team in Bommel, but I broke that team a while ago, and I haven't really fixed it. So it's wonky. It doesn't work full auto 100% of the time anymore. And the reason I broke it is because I did YST's one-shot composition with Nishak Verminlord. And I liked it. It was fun. It was great. You could just one-shot Bommel. It was about like a 60 or 70% success rate. It wasn't 100%, but it would work a lot of the times, and it was very fast. But then I changed Nishak for like another composition. I wanted to put him in Clan Boss. I wanted to do stuff with him in Dragon. And I broke the speed tune that I needed for that. And now it doesn't work at all. Like I can manual it sometimes, but I can manual it and it's like a 30% success rate. So it's just, that's way worse. So I've been building this Lady Annabelle for like 4 months. I just haven't gotten around to finally putting her into a team because the last Bommel rotation, she wasn't quite masteried up. And I was just distracted by all the other stuff because that's around the time that I was really getting into the YouTube thing. We had just started Noob versus Pro. And so I just didn't have the time. And the previous Bommel rotation, she wasn't built. Like I pulled her after that rotation ended, I think. So, you know, with rotations only being once every 3 months, it's a big gap of time. So today I'm going to build her out. We're going to do that. And then while we're doing that, you're going to see that my main account is completely jam-packed with champions right now, and I haven't done a champion cleanse. I haven't done a vault cleanse in months. So I'm going to do that as well, and we're going to see how that turns out. Maybe I can help some people figure out how to do a good vault cleanse. And then we'll talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about. So I'm going to try to keep on top of the chat. I want Thursday streams to be interactive, unlike, you know, Takeover Tuesdays are not really that interactive because I'm concentrating on the takeovers. And Noob versus Pro, you know, obviously on Sundays, that's a fun stream and that is very interactive, especially because we get to watch Sun basically play the game and me talk about it.
Yep.
But, you know, that is still got a focus there. And this just allows me to actually show off my main account a little bit, which I think players should, you know, if you're free to play player, I don't need that anymore. You know, you may be interested in just to see what it looks like. I haven't done this video yet. Let's see. Was that everything? That looked like everything. Let me just make sure my clan boss keys are, and am I going to run out of anything here in the next few hours? Just this. Let me, So, I didn't do a video on this yet, but I just hit level 100 on my main account. It was just maybe like 5 or 6 days ago. And that's a big thing. It took me almost 2.5 years to get to level 100. So I'm going to do a video on what a level 100 account looks like and show that off to people. Obviously, every level 100 account is going to look different, but just to give people a perspective. And then I like playing that account, and I haven't really made it a focus of my content in any real way. So I wanted to add this stream on Thursdays to give people an opportunity to see an Endgame free-to-play account. And for me to actually have some time to play that account, which I never get, and maybe make some progress. I have made almost no progress on that account since I started the YouTube channel, because none of my efforts on that account have been for the account. They have all been for content. So realistically, even though it's like a 28 or 29 month old account, like for 3 months, I haven't done anything. I've done nothing but do a few shard pulls, do some, grind some daily resources, do a fusion or two. Like I've actually kept up with all the fusions except for the panda. I skipped the panda because I was burned out. But I did all the other fusions. So I have Islin, I have Emic, I have Newt, I have Timit the Fool, and I have the current guy, Ugir, or whatever his name is. So I have all those fusions. But yeah, so we'll dig into that in just a moment. Let me just kill this Duchess, and then we'll go. But so I'm excited about Lady Annabelle because I'd like a full auto Bommel that I don't have to worry too much about, right? And I just think solo champions are cool, and I really like self-healing champions. All right, so let me jump out of this and get into my main account. All right, so it looks like the poll definitely landed in Wukong's favor. We've got 42 votes. About 70% of the voters went for Wukong. So if that's any indication that, what the community thinks about that question, hopefully you've got the answer that can help you. The good news is that there's no wrong answer there. They're both phenomenal champions. They're both going to help you. So if you've decided to go with Deacon, then you're not going to regret it. The only way you would regret that is if, like, you literally on your first shard, you pulled a Deacon. Then you'd be upset. I hope that doesn't happen now that I've said it out loud. I really hope that doesn't happen. Mayhem Monkey, welcome. Roberto Munoz, welcome. Tonk, good to see you. In the first 7 days or 10 days, Wukong will be better than Deacon. Yeah, because he's a natural 5-star. Deacon's a natural 4-star. But for the next 90 days or so, Deacon's going to do better than Wukong, probably. And then at Endgame, I don't know, maybe not. It really depends on your account. Depends what you pull. This personal from DK just finished hard 90 with Annabelle. Had to use some glyphs, though. I use glyphs on everybody. Ian Godwin says, waiting on CVC, then I can wrap my head around the budget man-eater comp. It's a good comp. It's not world-breaking. It's not, like, transformative. It's good, though. It's a good comp to get started with. It'll help you understand stun targeting. Yeah, I had no problem making Nishak work, but it's the speeds, right? I broke the speeds. I re-geared him for something else, and he lost 40 speed. And that's what broke the comp. I could make Nishak work again, but I don't want to. I don't want him to be my Bommel killer. I don't farm Bommel. I don't need a one-shot, right? I farm Dark Fae, or I farm Glyphing. So I don't ever need a fast Bommel clear. I don't care. I just want it to be 100%. All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, you can see I'm level 100. There we go. You can see that my roster is packed down here at the end with all of these epics. I mean, all of these epics that I got during the Void Shard event, and then, you know, the Sacred Shard event, and then all the Ancients. And I mean, I didn't even pull during the Ancients. And it's like, I've got copies of Champions. Like, some of these are new to the account. Some of them aren't. I don't remember which ones are new. Like, I'll have to go through that. And then I've got all of these rares that are just food, you know, champions for the most part. But a few of them might be books for their counterparts. So I got to figure that out. Some of them are new, or at least one or two of them are new, I think. I think that, I don't know if this is my first meat carver or not. There might be another meat carver. But so, you know, for instance, when a new rare comes out, Tree Shield Knot, I think I already have a Tree Shield Knot like leveling up, but I play this account so infrequently now that I really don't know. So I need to do a massive cleanse, because if you look at my roster, so let's see, how many free spots are here? I've got 8 free spots here. I've got 8 free spots in my Master Vault, and I've got 4 free spots in my Reserve Vault, and that's it. You know, so we're talking about, like, let's see, 250, 300, that's 550, and then what do we got here? Another 300. Like, I've got, you know, got 800, over 800 champions on my roster right now. I need to clear some out. There's just no point to it. But for right now, let's focus on Lady Annabelle. So here she is. She's got her books. She's all booked out. She does have a 1-star blessing. So I'm going to have to take a look at that and what I want from her blessing. I'm assuming, but I don't actually know. Maybe somebody can shout this out, that I want Phantom Touch. I'm assuming I want Phantom Touch just to speed up the fight. But I'm not 100% sure that that's the case. You know, Phantom Touch gives you crit damage, HP, like, and she does damage based on attack. So it's like you can get value out of that attack stat. But I'm thinking probably Phantom Touch. You can go with other things, like maybe Cruelty, like that might work. You know, I don't know that there's anything else out there that really jumps out at me as hugely important. Like Miracle Heal, I don't think so. You know, maybe, I mean, what's her A1? Her A1 just heals her, right? Yeah. Leech, decrease speed. We don't care about this. Now, the other thing is I got to figure out the team that goes around her that gets her to the boss and then dies. So I don't know who that's going to be. We'll have to figure that out. Might be a Seer comp, right? Unfortunately, my Seer setup is like Lydia, who's very tanky, and I want her to die. So I can't use Amik. You know, maybe I could use a 5-star Renegade. I could use a 5-star Renegade, maybe. We'll see if we can figure it out. And then maybe like a Ninja or a Ray. I don't know. I have to build up my Akemptum too. He's in the same situation. He's got all of his scrolls, just like Lady Annabelle. But we haven't done her masteries yet. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm not going to use a guide. I'm just not going to use a guide right now. I'm going to see how it works. I've done research on her before. It's been several months, so I could be messing up, but whatever. Let's just not use a guide. Let's just try it out. Let's look at her kit. So, all right, she gets heals from each hit, 3% of her max HP. So auto attacks are good, so speed is good. We want speed on her kit. Now, she has a 75% chance of landing a leech, and she also has a chance of landing a decreased speed. It feels like we would want both of these. The leech, obviously, you have to have the leech. Decreased speed, I don't even remember if Bommel is immune to decreased speed or not. I'll go take a look. That only lands on targets with less than 50% turn meter, but again, we don't care. We just want the leech. This we don't care about. We don't want this on in terms of the Bommel fight. I don't think the increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown is like helpful. You want her counterattacking or attacking every time so that she's constantly healing up. So I don't think this increased speed is good. So I'm probably going to turn that off. And then her passive heals this champion by 50% of the max HP whenever an ally or an enemy dies. Now, in terms of masteries, it feels like there are a couple of different options, right? You could go down the healing path. That's going to make her regen faster. And then you could pair that, say, with defense, which would make her tankier, right? Especially you want... where is it? This one. Delayed death. Reduces the damage this champion receives from a specific enemy, you know, that stacks up. So that's going to get you 6% reduction. Or potentially, if you're tanky enough and you think that you want to go faster, right, in the fights, you could come down here and do War Master, so you could go down the offensive tree. I think realistically with my gear, that would be tricky. I think the duration of the fight doesn't matter. I want it to be 100% success, so I can just click it once, clear my Bommel, and move on. If it takes 30 minutes, all right, it takes 30 minutes. So I think realistically, I'm probably going to do support and defense. The question is, which defense masteries and which support masteries? Because I could also do the accuracy masteries. I could do the debuff extension. That would extend the duration of my leech on the A2. I think it's a 2-turn. No, it's 2 turns up on a 3-turn cooldown. She's going to be going faster than Bommel anyway. She's probably going to place this over and over again, so I might not need that. Do I need sniper? That's a good question. Do I need sniper? 100% chance. So we don't care. No, we don't need sniper. You know, another option would be go defense and offense, right? But then we lose all the extra healing on this tree. So I think for my first mastery build, I'm probably going to go support and defense. Now, I'm going to go check out chat and see what they've been saying about it. Tag says, you don't need the leech. It's a bad idea to be placing debuffs on the boss once it's just her. John Hudson says, you want War Master. Shooter says, without War Master, that will take forever. You don't need the leech just in regen immortal. You only want her using her A1. That's an interesting thought. If I only want her using her A1 and she has enough sustain, then you're right. Then she doesn't need the leech. And if she doesn't need the leech, she doesn't need accuracy. And if she doesn't need accuracy, her build becomes easier. Okay. Lanathril lead is probably the best. I do have a 5-star Lanathril. I could do that. I also have a 5-star Deliana. Both of those champions are pretty tanky and hard to kill, but they're 5 stars, so. You really want the War Master, forget accuracy. I would try a build first to see if you need more tankiness, then decide on masteries. Okay. Just War Master and her A1 is all you need. You need War Master, otherwise you run out of turns. That's a good point. I prefer a speed lead to come back fast on the regen and speed the run. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see about the lead. I'm not there yet. But I do think that the offensive tree is where you want to be eventually. I'm just a little bit worried that I might not have what I need. So, in terms of gear. So I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to go support tree. I think you need to go down the healing side. That feels right. That you need the heals. If we don't need the accuracy, that gives us some leeway here. If we're not casting debuffs, there's no reason for accuracy. So here's the thing. I'm not going to get to Lore of Steel then, but that might not matter if I'm running regen and immortal, because Lore of Steel doesn't help a ton with regen and immortal. So the question is, do I want to build her with as much crit rate as possible? Let's go ahead and start building her and see where we get to. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to want Phantom Touch on her. But okay, so let's see what we've got. So we're going to go to... I already skipped it. Where is it? Regeneration. Now, I've been using a lot of regeneration gear lately, so I may have to take some regeneration gear off of Islin or somebody. Okay, so let's look for substats of speed. That's a nice. That's not a nice weapon here. Let me do that. All right, so you can't see the stats here. This is always the annoying part. Let's do that. Okay. All right, now you can see her stats and you can see the gear. All right, so this is nice. This is a piece that's on Ultimate Death Knight, which I never use. I never used Ultimate Death Knight anywhere except Faction Crypts right now. So, I mean, not that I shouldn't. Like, I should use them somewhere. I don't need the accuracy here. Speed, one roll into speed, one roll into speed with accuracy that I don't need. A lot of speed with, oh, this one looks nice. Speed, HP, double roll, crit rate. That's not too bad. Let's try that on for now. I'm just going to probably pick all 6 pieces and then go look at Immortal gear. You know, so I'm just going to take all 6 pieces from regen. This one's not too bad. This is very nice, but Venom Mage is currently set up in a solo build. I don't think I can strip anything off of Venom Mage. That's not bad. Double speed. Let's see if this rolls into like HP percentage or something. Okay, so it's not too bad. Might be my best option right now. So let's do that. Speed with a bunch of defense. Defense is not bad. It's not hugely important against Bommel, right? Like, defense doesn't mitigate the bomb damage. So I'd rather have that on a defensive-based champion. This is not bad. Double roll into HP percentage with crit rate and crit damage. Speed, HP, and HP. That's not too bad. Double roll into speed with HP. Let's look at this one. Let's roll that up to 12. Don't have a lot of silver because we just did all that stuff. 7% crit rate. That's actually not bad. The question is, do I want that one or this one? We're looking at 2,900 HP versus 500 HP, but 7 more speed and 7% additional crit rate. Let's just do that for now. Let's go with the speed. We might be swapping some of these pieces out for Immortal gear anyway. I really don't have that many gloves, huh? Like, these are all of my regen gloves? I need HP gloves. I like defense gloves don't do anything for me in this build. Now, these are clearly the best, but see what happens if I upgrade these. More HP is good. That's not bad. I'll take those. Chess pieces. That's too bad. I think I have to take these. I can't take Drangs, unfortunately. So I have to take what's her names? All right, now let's look for boots. Flat HP, defense, and crit rate. I like that. This is a double roll and a crit rate with HP, and resistance. That's very nice. I guess one of the questions that I have that, maybe you can answer is, do I need resistance? Because I haven't been looking for resistance. Do I need resistance against Bommel? You can't resist the dread bombs, obviously. Can you resist? I forget. Can you resist the bombs he places? I don't think they're resistible, are they? They might be. I wish I had done this weekend when it didn't cost me any money to swap gear. That would have been nice. All right, let's take a look at, we want revenge accessories. That's a nice piece. That could be good. Let's try that on. I think I'm okay with an HP amulet. Let's try that on. And then a banner, we're going to need HP. There we go. That looks really nice. Yeah, let me see. Do we need resist for this? At least you need 2,500 defense. He hits hard on 90. And as much HP and speed as possible. John Hodgson says, I have mine at 65k HP, 3.4k defense, 237 speed, but I need to use a speed or a champ. Yeah, you don't need resist. I didn't think so. Yeah. Those are good rolls. Okay, so let's roll this up. All right, so we're looking at 2.1k defense, so a lot lower than what you were talking about. And 70,000 HP. Unglyphed, obviously, we still have some value here. We're going to get more defense. We're going to get more HP. We're going to get a little more attack. We have 49% crit rate, which feels okay. Let's go ahead and upgrade this all the way. Maybe we'll get another speed roll. Flat defense, which is probably the worst roll that could have landed. All right, now let's go look at now let's go look at our immortal gear. Somebody said something about all my rare gear that, like, I haven't done a gear cleanse in like like in my accessories in like a year. So all right, so we're looking for, first of all, we're looking for 6 stars. Let's go ahead and change that. We're looking for 6 stars. And then let's see, we want substats, we need speed. So let's look at the chest pieces first. Yeah, I didn't think I had chest piece. I could also look at the boots. Right? No. Oh, well, these are, yeah. Let's do this. We've got 1 6-star. All right, it's not any better. It's actually worse. So we could look at, the gloves were only, yeah, the gloves were only 5-star, so I could get more HP out of that. Let's look at the chest pieces. HP, defense. What were the stats, John Hodgson, that you said? Peckham says, hi, Colred. I'm using UDK as my clan boss lead. Is it worth booking? UDK gets better with books, but you don't need to book him to get some value out of him. And it really depends on the other champions that you have and the books, the number of books that you have available. So I think you're okay probably holding out unless you're going to use your UDK in a lot of places. So 67k HP, 2.5k defense. The 2-piece HP heal set could work. What are we talking about? Are we talking about Immortal? I'm looking at Immortal. I'm not going to run 6 regen pieces. I want to run, you know, Immortal gear. All right, so I've got 5 stars here, so I could potentially maybe get some. But look at that. That would get me a lot of crit rate, but not necessarily tons of accuracy there. This could actually do well. Let's roll this up. May have to do a bit of a gear cleanse here to get some HP. Roll me speed. That's not bad. I got 10 speed versus 9 speed base. 14, I got 18% HP. The resist doesn't help. I lose the crit rate, but I get crit damage. So that could be a piece that I could run. What else could we potentially replace here? That's pretty good. I don't know that I'm going to get more than that. Here's some defense on this one. Instead of attack, I'd be trading, but I'd be getting more crit rate. That's not a bad piece. This would be picking up. This would be picking up some. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's look at the shields. This one's interesting. This one looks good. Like crit rate is more valuable to me than crit damage, right? But you know, this is not a bad piece right here. But let's see if I can roll more speed. I can get a double roll into speed here. That's 1. So this feels like an upgrade. A little bit more defense. I lose 1 speed. I'm going to glyph this speed. I'm going to end up probably with like 250 speed. And we have to remember, like, I haven't done masteries yet, right? So there's still like more defense to come, more crit rate to come, more crit damage, all that stuff. So what did we say? These 3 pieces are the ones I could potentially replace here. So I think it was this. Where is it? It was this one. And then the other option was, I think, was this. I like that one. That one feels solid all around. More HP, more defense, more crit rate. Let's try that. And then, so it's either the shield or the weapon. So let's look at the shield again. Where was the shield that we just did? Is it this one or this one? So it's that one. Or it's this. And we can roll this one up again and see where it rolls. Ooh. HP. That's... Yeah, the downside is, like, where is it? How am I losing? Oh, I got you. This has a lot more speed on it, right? And this one's already glyphed, so there is that. Let's try that. All right. Now let's go ahead and do a mini little cleanse here. Yeah, I don't really care about these too much. But I don't have the time to like do a full cleanse here. So let's just sell the ring. All right. So equip. All right, so let's see. What could we get here? More HP, more defense, more defense. Let's get another substat here. Let's see if we can do this for under 1 point. No, we probably failed. Yeah, we failed. Now I need to go make some silver. All right. I don't have a ton of space, but we're going to go make some silver. I have 10,000 silver. Now I have 40,000 silver. I have 80,000 silver. I love the forge. Okay, now we can do a 10. I do not make gear frequently enough. Damn it. That's not what I wanted. 6-star speed boots with good substats on them. I don't even want to look at this stuff. Damn it. I don't want good gear. I want trash gear that I can throw out. All the 5-star gear goes. 6-star gear, if it's blue, has to be perfect. It's just not worth it. Even if it's like epic, it has to be perfect with substats. And these can be tricky, like 5-star legendaries that have good, you know, substats. That can be really tricky. But let's get like another 2 million silver, and then we'll get back to the gearing. See, that's what I like to see. I like to see those 6-star boots just be total trash so I can throw them out. I know this probably hurts some of you newer players. If you're early game, you're looking at this gear and you might be like, oh my gosh, those are such great pieces. Like they are in the early game. But, you know, once you get into the mid game or late game, they start becoming not as important. And eventually you just do what I'm doing, which is like you see 5 stars and you just sell it. So the only thing I really look at here are 6 stars, and I try not to look too hard. Do I want this for anything? Nope. Attack percentage gloves have very limited uses, so I don't need to worry about those, which is nice because I'm just trying to get silver. All right, I want to get about 2.5 million. Sorry to make you watch this. That's what a live stream is all about. you gotta sit here and grind with me. Gotta look at crit damage gloves. Anytime, any set, you gotta look at crit damage gloves. Just make sure. Now that's kind of nice. I really want to. I don't have space. I still have like 300 artifacts in my mailbox, and I just can't. Like, I have to be brutal. 5-star speed boots don't make the cut. Ah, damn it. Well, that was 5 stars. That was 5 stars. That was a crit damage glove with crit rate substats, but it was 5 stars. Uh-oh. A little bit of lag. That would normally be a nice piece, right? Resistance, speed, HP on a defensive percentage. Peace and resilience. 5 stars. Gotta be brutal. Gotta be brutal. Another. Oh, this one's even nicer. Ah, gotta be brutal. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't even look. $2.7 million. All right, that should be enough. I hope that wasn't too painful for anybody. Lady Annabelle. Let's get you upgraded here, Lady Annabelle. All right, and now let's start glyphing out. So what are we? We're at 228 speed. Ouch. That was awful. We're at 80,000. All right, let's go make something else, maybe. We make some trash pieces. Yeah, let's make some fatal gear. I don't care about fatal gear. I can sell almost everything with fatal gear. The only thing I wouldn't is if I had some really good like crit damage gauntlets or 6-star, like something with crit rate and crit damage in it. And probably speed. Let's see, we'll get back to like 1.5 million. This is better to do during a CVC or an artifact enhancement event, but we're doing it during a live stream, so. We need silver for glyphs, yep. I'm pretty sure I don't have any attack amulets. That's one of the things I sell first. If that had been a crit damage gauntlet, that would have been awesome. The nice thing about Fatal is you really need very specific stats. If you don't have those specific stats, it's just easy to get rid of. Because it's an attack-based set, you're not going to save it for HP or defensive-based damage dealers. You know, so it's like if you have stats that go the wrong way, if you have too much stat in like defense or HP, well, you don't, you know, you need crit rate, you need crit damage, you need speed. It's like those are the 3 stats you need. So like if this had, you know, speed, attack percentage, crit rate, that would be perfect. So it's really easy to know what the good stats are on this set. So that's one of the reasons why I like it. I don't think it's a good set. I think it's a pretty bad set. I think when I reviewed it, it was down near the bottom. You really need perfect pieces in this set. There's no reason to keep non-perfect pieces. Now, that's not true in the early game. In the early game, it can have some uses, can definitely be a filler set, and can do some good work for you. But okay. Lady Annabelle. Let's get you glyphed out. Where'd she go? There she is. All right. So you go 4-star glyphs on everything, probably. Don't have that many speed glyphs anymore. I'm running out of speed glyphs here. I don't like seeing 2s on my 4-star speed glyphs. And I also don't like seeing 1% on my 4-star defense glyphs. So we're hoping to get a little bit more defense. The HP is pretty high. We're over 80K. So there may come a time where I realize I might need more defense and less HP, and I could potentially swap out for a defense percentage chest or gloves, because we saw that I had some of those. So I might think about that in the long run, especially if I start getting up to like 90k. I don't think I'll get that high up, but we'll see. That was a nice roll there. Oh, let's upgrade this all the way too. Well, we made it at least. We're going to need to do more silver farming though. Yeah, we need to do more silver farming to finish our glyphs. This is, I shouldn't have done this right after doing a fusion, because I had to do the artifact enhancement for the fusion. That cost like 20 million. I went into the fusion with over 50. I had like 55 million. In fact, that's not exactly what happened. I had almost 60 million silver, and the day before the fusion, I did something on stream, I think, or for a video, and I spent like 25 million silver the day before the artifact enhancement. And that would have like done the whole, or the day before the fusion, that would have done all of the artifact enhancement stuff. And then I think I did it again. I think I did it again before the final artifact enhancement. Like, so I spent like 30 or 40 million outside of the artifact enhancement events, which is just, I should not have done that. That was kind of a silly thing to do, but it was for content. Things we do for content. Ooh. If that had been an epic, I probably would have held on to it. All right, let's just get over 1 million here. Defense percentage goes away. We don't care. HP percentage goes away. We don't care. Attack percentage boots you might care about with crit rate and crit damage. All right, so we're going to end up over 1 million here. We should be like 1.1 maybe. 1.2. $1.28. Okay. Back to Lady Annabelle. She needs a couple more glyphs. A little bit more damage and a little bit more damage and a little bit more damage. Oh boy. More defense. More HP. More defense. And more speed. That's good. Rolled a 4 on the speed. What did we end up with? 243 speed. Is that fast enough? Is that close? It's probably that close. I think 240 is probably the minimum. Now, the good news, if there is good, by the way, what did we say on the blessing? Yeah, so here's another thing, which is like I'm not at the top Bommel. I don't even know which. I might be on the second Bommel. I have not been doing Doom Tower because of the holidays. So I like we're gonna run Lady Annabelle because it's cool to run her and I want to get her started. But we're not up at the top things. We have 2.5k defense here, so we might need more. 2.6k defense. We might need more. I mean, we've got 85,000 HP. So, you know, like we could do a quick search for, you know, like this. You know, like we could potentially do something like this if we needed. We could give away 10,000 HP to get another 500 defense if we needed to. I would prefer to do it with speed. like here, this would be better. Right? That would get us another 500 defense. And then potentially we could glyph the speed back because we're actually losing speed here because this is, yeah, we'd glyph that speed back. We'd end up at the same speed. And then we would have to, we'd have to swap out one of these pieces. Also, we have to remember all the masteries and stuff that we still have to do. But what did we decide on the blessing? Did anybody make a decision on the blessing? Do we want, I think we just probably want Phantom Touch, right? That's true. If I'm taking the extra speed for dead allies, then I'll speed up. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna take Phantom Touch. And then as far as the masteries are concerned, let's do that for now, and we'll do this. What am I thinking of? It's this one, right? Speed for each dead ally. See, this doesn't help us. Merciful Aid doesn't help us. I'm almost tempted to come into here. We don't care about that now, but we might care about that in other content. Same thing here, but we probably want to end up with Spirit Haste. We definitely want Life Drinker, though, right? So here's the question. Does Exalt in Death proc off of the Dread Bombs? Because obviously it's only going to proc once per round, and it's a 1 round fight. But potentially that could keep you alive the first time until you get your additional speed or you get your additional, ramp ups. I don't know that I'm using any ramp ups here. Am I using any ramp ups? So yeah. Anyway, we're going to stop. Well, I'm just going to try this out. All right, so let's get into Doom Tower. Where are we in Doom Tower? I have no idea. Okay, so we're on the second Bommel. In hard. So let's get in here. And you can see this was the former, this worked, but then I broke it. So the question is, what do we want? In terms of speed auras, if I wanted to go with speed auras, which I may want to do over HP auras because I have enough HP. I could go defensive aura, but who would be... See, that's 33% in dungeons. This is Doom Tower, 30% in Doom Tower. So Lady Kimmy could be nice. She's squishy enough, she's going to die. The problem is she's going to drop her turn meter. So I definitely have to use the AI here anyway. And now I need a wave clearer. Or 2, maybe. I don't want anybody too tanky.
Forget about a boy Wukong.
What about him?
Don't forget about him.
Don't forget what about him?
Just don't forget about him.
I've got him at level 17. He's not even geared.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually I'll
do his trick.
I want him on the team. Maybe I should bring in some level 50 champions. But will level 50s actually help me clear? That's the thing. Oh, these are all speed aura champions. Yeah, I can reset the filter there. She'll die fast. I don't know. I don't know who I need here. I've never done this before. I've never really set up a team that's like purpose is to die after clearing the waves. So, you know, like I could do Seer. We were talking about Seer before. I could do Seer with a level 50 Renegade. And then who would buff me? Who would maybe give me like a... somebody who's not too tanky. Oh, wait. I need my Lady Annabelle. I can't. I'm just like throwing people in there. I'm like, I need Lady Annabelle. Like, it might be better off with this. I could do this. He's kind of tanky. But. All right. So let's go to the team setup here. I actually don't have a lot of confidence in this team comp. But what might happen is everybody might die before we get to Bommel, and then Lady Annabelle clear the last champion or two on the wave and just solo Bommel the whole time. All right, so in round 3, if Lady Annabelle gets there, we can't use the turn meter decrease, although she has this, right? So we want to just turn this off. And we just want to turn everything off, I think. Let's see. What does she need to do in round 1? Let's open with that. Actually, maybe we don't have to. Maybe we should use that as the opener on round 2. So on round 1, we don't want her to use this. And then what we can do here is let's see what are the speeds. She's running 279, 245, 219, 230, and 243. Okay, so we need Renegade to turn off her. Don't use this. Doesn't matter what you use, I don't think. Yeah, okay. And then... so we'll have her open with this. And Lady Annabelle can really do whatever she wants. So what do we want from Cardiel here, I think? This should be 3-turn cooldown. We can try open with this. Okay. Let's go ahead and try that out. There may be a bit of leeway here just because it's only the second Bommel. All right, so not bad. We didn't clear the waves, but we have an extra turn anyway because we only have a 2-turn cooldown. But we don't, and it doesn't matter if Renegade uses her cooldown here or on the second turn. So as long as she does it before Seer goes, right? Oh, well, she went after Seer. There we go. That works. Oh, you know what I should have done on the boss? I forgot to turn off Cardiel's skills. I should have turned off his skills. Now we're going to get dread bombs from turn meter decreases, but we need Bommel to just kill us. Please kill us. This is very funny. I want everybody to die, and they're not dying. And then I've got Cardiel, who's putting up his revive on death, which so they're not dying more. The dread bombs will kill everybody. There we go. All right. So a minute 30, everybody dies, and Lady Annabelle gets to solo the boss the rest of the way. And yeah, she's not having a problem with this level of Bommel. Wow. Wow, she's not, she's, look, I mean, maybe 25% she's losing. That's crazy how, and she's chewing through him. She's doing all right. I mean, it's not going to be fast, but it's a lot more damage than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, he's only floor 50. Is that what it is? Floor 50? But yeah, it is 50 hard at least. You know, it's not 50 normal. All right, but so while we watch this, let me go jump into chat and see what people think. Kimmy has turn meter on A1. Yes, she does. Kelly with a Y says, I loved today's back-to-back videos. I tried pushing them to HH, Ash, Chosen, and Gigs. I hope it helps. Thank you so much. Thanks for getting involved. And thanks for mentioning it to the big boys. Those are the big one. You know, those are all much bigger content creators than I am. And I hope they do take a look. I was reading the comments. There were a lot of really good comments on the first video today. I haven't seen the comments from the second video today because I've been doing the live stream. And most of the comments were really positive. There were a couple of comments that were just kind of negative on content creators. And I think one of the things that I've seen is that content creators are like players in that they do content for different reasons. They play for different reasons, and they have different ideas about the No Dime December, just like the entire player base does. And each content creator is different for their, you know, their reasoning. But I don't think any of them, at least none that I've saw, defend Plarium's like monetization policies or the quality of the game in recent months. They're just not convinced that the movement is worthwhile. And that's what I was trying to do with the video, convince them that maybe it is worthwhile. But I just don't think, I don't hold that they're shilling like anybody. I don't think HH is shilling for Plarium. I don't think, like, they have skin in the game. I said that in the video. The content creators have more skin in the game than anybody. And I think we need to respect the fact that some of them might not want to take on a fight that they don't feel is theirs. I think it is theirs. I would like it to be theirs. I think it's mine. I'm not even a spender. I've literally got, like, when you talk about skin in the game, I just applied to the content creator program. There's a decent chance that they watch my video from today, my 2 videos from today, and they're like, no, dude, sorry. It's like you are on the wrong side of the single most important issue in the community right now, and we don't want you in the content creator program. So that would be a blow. That would slow down the growth of my channel. It would reduce my access to the other content creators. It would not give me the information that, you know, content creators get a little bit ahead of time to prepare their videos in terms of providing news to the community. I wouldn't get the resources that would help my free-to-play account, you know, work a little bit better. Like this account, it would be on my main account. So, you know, I asked during the other stream if people would still feel like I was a valid free-to-play player if I was getting resources from the content creator program. And it was overwhelming. It was like 85% yes, thought it was a good idea. So I applied, but I might not get in. You know, so there is skin in the game for me from the content creator side, not just from the player side. But I think realistically, I think of myself as a gamer first and a content creator, like maybe not even second, you know, like maybe third or fourth. I like this. I want this to be something that Sun and I can do for a long time and make money at. And the way that I approach it is the exact same way I tried to communicate to Plarium in my video. I try to provide value to get value. Oh, you're right. I should have maybe just turned her other skills off. Yeah. Whoops. So still's not gonna be a super long fight. It's gonna be less than 10 minutes, definitely. Do I have Fire Gun Isabel? I do. Kelly with a Y says, you presented an intelligent plan and you weren't insulting or aggressive, so hopefully it is seen in a positive light and isn't damaging to your goals. Yeah, that's what I hope. I hope. But I guess what I was saying about, you know, the comments, most of the people were pretty positive, but some of the comments in some of my videos have been kind of derogatory about content creators. One took a shot at me. At least one took a shot at me. Somebody said that I'm trying to, I don't know, like I'm commenting on bigger content creators or something in the hopes that like increases my profile. You know, that the reason that
Just to even be relevant.
Yeah.
God.
Right. That's what it was, to even be relevant. Something like that. And you know what? That's not entirely wrong. Right? I comment on issues for the community. I hope to become more and more relevant. I do think that having conversations with and potentially collaborations with other content creators could increase my profile in the community and grow my channel. It's not an absurd assumption. It's actually a true thing. It's just not my top priority. The reason I'm commenting on this video is because HH he's the biggest voice in the community and his position matters. He brought new information to the table. And I thought that, you know, there might be some people who watch my channel who don't watch his. And my responsibility, ultimately, I think, on a large scale, it's to the community, but in a direct way, it's to you guys, it's to everybody who watches my videos. And I asked about my reaction video to Jay Giggs. I said, is this content that you occasionally want me to do, or should I avoid it? And the overwhelming response was, we like that you do this. We thought you brought something to it. And yes, and I'm trying not to do too much. I think one a week is more than enough. I don't need to create 10 reaction videos a month. I did 2 today because that was originally supposed to be 1 video. And I'm long-winded, you all know it, and I run forever. And there's a lot of information to cover. So, you know. All right, so we did all right there. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Now, obviously, you know, we'll see what happens in 30 floors, because I think he's 90, right? He's 90, but he must be somewhere in between here as well. So he's 50, and maybe he's 70 and 90. I don't think he's above 90, right? Dark Fae is 120. I think this is Griffin. Maybe no, I'm pretty sure he's 90. So 10. Is he just 10, 50, 90? Is that literally all he is? He's just 10, 50, 90. He's not here in between. Yeah, that must be it. 10, 50, 90. Okay. So floor 50, no problem. That's great. Lady Annabelle doing work. Didn't even complete her masteries. That seemed easy, by the way. That didn't seem particularly hard. Like once she got to the boss, let me revisit this setup a little bit. So we look at her stats, 86,000 HP, 2.6k defense, 243 speed, you know, some crit rate, a little bit of crit damage. On round 3, we should turn off these skills. Whoops. Round 3, we can turn off this skill as well. I might speed it up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I could speed it up in other ways. I could definitely speed it up in other ways. So, you know, this speed aura is huge, 30%, right? So I like having Lady Kimmy there. She's got the biggest speed aura for Doom Tower that I have. I don't know if there is a champion that has a bigger Doom Tower speed aura. The only other thing I could potentially do, I think, is, let's see, turn off Cardiel's revive on death here. Let's see if that speeds it up at all. We'll just run it again just to see. Crashdown, I haven't seen your video yet today. That's okay. No worries. There are two of them. They're both an hour long, so take your time. Tog says, how dare you want to be relevant? Yeah, right? Oh, man. I think from my perspective, I want to be relevant because I'm valuable. I don't want it to be the other way around. I don't want to be valuable because I'm relevant. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like be famous for being famous. I'm not like trying to do that. I'm trying to help people. And I want to be effective at it and be recognized for being effective at it. And then the more people I help, the more they'll want to visit my channel, and then my channel will grow. I have no interest in just being big for the sake of being big, right? It's not what I want to do. If I wanted to do that, I could have done a lot of different things. I'm an educator, you know, career educator. Like, the reason I got into education, what happened there? I didn't see that. Let's try it again. But the reason I got into education wasn't to make money. I make a living at education. I need to make a living. I need to support my family. But I'm not trying to get rich, right? I'm not trying to prop myself up. I'm trying to do something I believe in that simultaneously pays the bills and hopefully makes the world a slightly better place. That may seem weird in a gacha game, but I think what we're doing right now, like the No Dime December, that's part of a larger discussion. And what I like to do is have those discussions and hopefully improve the lives of gamers and, you know, just people in general. Doesn't have to be a big way. You don't have to fix the world all at once. As long as we're all pulling together, things get better. Alex says, is everyone forgetting a huge detail? These guys are Ukrainian. Them and Russians are definitely not known for their business savvy. Remember, there's also an Australian company at the top of all of it. And yeah, there's a cultural difference in the attitude towards money. And there's a reasonable difference. Like there's a reasonable reason that there's a difference. That's called being smart. Of course, you talk to promote yourself, show that you know about raid and community, as well as it's absurd to criticize that. Bigger content creators do the same to get promoted. Yeah, and I think that's what collaborations are about, right? Like, you might say, like, why would HH collaborate, say, with YST, right? Like, HH has 200,000 subscribers and YST has 30,000 subscribers, or whatever whenever they got together. Except for the fact that, like, collaborations are fun. There might be a part of YST's audience that didn't know about HH very much or didn't think much of him, and then they got exposed to it. The collaborations are fun. They might increase the viewership on those individual videos, and then you now have a relationship with another content creator, and we all like to talk shop about raid. Like, everybody likes to talk about games. So who better to talk about games and content creation than other content creators in your space, right? So even if it's not a huge bump to your overall bottom line, like, there are reasons to do it, and it may benefit your bottom line, and that's okay. Like, it should. Great. Player had an office in Ukraine, but it's not a Ukrainian company. They have offices in Poland, US, and Israel as well. Yeah, I'm not actually sure where the company was founded, but obviously they've been acquired. You know, they're owned by another company now. But Ukrainian culture informs the way they do business, the way they like there's an influence there because they have a lot of Ukrainians. They also have people from other places. So yeah, I do think, you know, you can see that. Like if you watched Cyrilla's interview with Ash like a month ago or a little bit longer, like 6 weeks ago, it was really interesting because my family is Slavic as well. And I was just there this summer, not in Ukraine, but in Croatia. And, you know, like every nationality and every, you know, ethnic groups of different types, like their cultures that like regionally, you could say like Southern Slavs would be different from like Eastern Slavs and stuff like that. But there are some similar traits, and it's always funny to see. And I was like, man, she felt super Russian to me, which I don't want to say that in an insulting way, but she's very Eastern Slavic, right? Very stone faced, like not very emotional, very upright and direct and purposeful. And again, you know, like everybody's different. Individuals are different, but I just smiled because I had literally just been in Croatia like a little, you know, this summer. And it's funny when you go to a place where your family is from, like my grandparents were from, they came here, they came to the United States from Croatia. My father was born over there. And so I know the people in my family and how they act. And then I go to a country and it seems like it's full of people who all belong in my family. You know, it's like, man, you would fit right in at Sunday dinner, you know? So there is some overlap. Obviously, again, everybody has a different personality. Everybody has a different motivation. But John Hodgson says, I have not seen your hour-long videos yet, but what thoughts on the new content that's coming to Raid? I'm glad there's new content coming to Raid. I'm glad it's a major content push. I haven't actually watched much of the videos. Like I've watched 1 or 2 videos on the new content. I know that there's going to be I think it's a Titan event that offers Torm in the Cold to everybody. And I want to see how this unfolds. Because to some extent, it's saying, you know, everybody can get Torm in the Cold. But we know very well that it can be extremely difficult to complete a Titan event without spending money. So simply having a champion that can be attained for free, technically with that mechanic, but that you might have to spend money on shards or energy or whatever to actually complete the event, like that's not really a free champion. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. Once we get to the content, I'm glad they're doing big content. That may be a good sign. Let me actually let's come back over here. So yeah, maybe a good sign that you know, I mean, again, that Cyrilla interview with Ash, she hinted at a lot of good things. And there had been some silence from Plarium prior to that interview. And so they clearly were making plans. They were, you know, some of these plans have been in action for a long time. But I think one of the things that the players don't like about Plarium as a company is that they are not very transparent. They play things close to the vest. So when they say things, we don't always know what they mean. They don't update us frequently. They don't ask for our input, really. They're like, we want to know what you think. And then we tell them what they think. And they're like, that's not what we think, so we don't care. You know, it's like they just want people to be like, yay, Plarium. And we are happy to do that when they do a good job. And I would rather be in that state. I would rather be like, yeah, Plarium, good job, than any other state. Like I have no interest in causing trouble. I have no interest in being negative. I'm an optimistic person. I don't like being negative. So how did we do here? 646, so about the same number of turns. So that didn't particularly speed us up or slow us down. But that felt good. Okay. So yeah. What is this? I think this is just energy, right? Yeah, it's the soul chase thing. Let's pull some soul shards. 6 points. That's something. 3-star or an epic. Grimskin. And 5 points. So that I think is a 3-star rare, right? No, it's 1-star epic. Yasmin. I don't think that got us anything, but whatever. Actually, yeah, okay. So I can't even summon 10 champions right now. So let's jump into... Yeah, the last one, the Wukong one, wasn't bad. All right, so I kind of want to... I'll show this again. I showed this at the beginning, but... So I am like chock full of stuff. Like I got all this stuff on my account, and I can't even really make a lot of moves here because, like, if you look at my vaults are mostly full. I've only got 12 spots in my vaults. I've only got 8 spots in my roster. I've got, you know, all of these champions that are just here. My reserve vault is filling up. So I need to do a little bit of a vault cleanse. And so I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, this is different. Let me first see how many spots I can get, because I do need some spots. Okay, so I don't really have any spots there. I do have some 1-star champions. Do I have anybody that needs maxing out? Almost. I should... Oh, those guys are... Here we go. Let's do this one. Not quite enough, but that'll give us a few more spots. Okay. So this is the way I'm going to do my vault cleanse and my roster cleanse. So I go up here, and the first thing that I do is I include the master vault and the reserve vault. Now, one of the things I don't like about this is when you do this, it doesn't tell you who is, like, it stops telling you who is a faction guardian. So normally, like, if you have a faction guardian, right, you get that little flag symbol. Let's see where it is. I should have it on somebody. Maybe it's only in the vault. Maybe it's only in the vault. This flag symbol, right? On a veer, you see that the 2 little chevrons right there? Yeah. So you get that symbol. But when you go to this filter, it'll tell you who's in the vault, but it doesn't... I don't think it gives you that symbol anymore. At least it didn't before. So let me go to the dwarves. Let me look for a veer. See? He doesn't have the little symbol now up here above my head. So I don't know who's, like, I've reserved for my faction guardian. So that's the one thing that I don't like about this. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Include that. And I'm just going to start with banner lords. Okay, and I'm going to look for duplicates. So usually what I do is I filter by rarity. That's going to make it a little bit easier to see duplicates. So come down here. All right, I got a couple of Alaric the Hoodeds. Now he's up here, so I go and I'm going to check his skills and see if he's fully booked out. He's not booked out. So I could potentially pull him out. My guess is that this guy in the vault might be a duplicate. Like, he might be a faction guardian. But this guy I know is not. Right? So we've got that going on. And then we've got all the rares down here that we've got to deal with. So I look for the rares, and I right now I'm just probably going to use them as books. Most of them as books. I do want to consider the fusion champion. I've got Risk Arm here because I think that I only have 1 copy right now. So let me go take a quick look at Risk Arm. And that's just something that, and Ilfrig's a fusion for Lady Mikage. But is Risk Arm a fusion for Lady Mikage? I forget. So he is. He's right here. And I do, in fact, need Lockwain. So this one I'm going to have to hold on to. So let's go back and do this. This takes forever. This is why I delayed doing it so long. Okay. Now I want to start thinking about some of the other duplicates here. So are we booked out here? We're booking out. I can turn these into 4-star chickens, by the way. I don't need to use them as books. You could also hold it for CVC and use them as books there, but I just want to get a little bit of space. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just hold on to the epics for now. That is my second Ilfrig. That's good to know because he is a fusion, but I want to hold on to him. So I'll probably start using the second one there. This lady Annabelle is in Faction Guardians. Ursula is a duplicate. She's in Faction Guardians. Okay. But so let's see. That guy is a 4-star chicken. All right. So we're gonna pull Quester out. So we've got 2 of him. Now, Preserver is also a fusion champion, but she doesn't have the symbol, and I'm assuming that's because I've already fused that. I haven't fused that. She's for the Okay, she is. She's for Razin. Okay, so that's why she doesn't have the symbol anymore. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Where was I? Okay, so we've got that. Let's get some other people out. Now, this guy's a fusion, so I have 2 copies of him going. Let me just see if I've booked either one. Yeah, so I'm booking the 30, and I'm not booking the 40. The 40 is for the fusion. The 30 is for my roster. So I can, in fact, book this guy. Let's pull him out to the collection. I'm pretty sure Chevalier can come out. We had Preserver. She can come out. Some of these may be duplicates. I forget. I mean, Faction Guardians. So we'll have to see. Okay. So now that I want to do that, I go over here to the tavern. I go to upgrade skills. And I go to faction. And Bannerlords is the first faction. So now I can start doing these guys. So let's see. This is the guy I'm actually booking out. So we're going to do that. The 40 is the guy that I'm going to fuse. Or I was going to fuse. I may not even need to fuse him because I think I have the epic. But if I want the epic, which I do. So Spy Master. Chevalier. Questor. Observer. Now, some of these champions are getting close to max, and once they're maxed, I don't ever have to do this again. And if this seems absurd to you, you can always turn them into chickens. You do not have to do this. It is absurd. I am a completionist. I want every champion in the game, including all the rares. And who knows, now that I'm a content creator, maybe someday it'll be valuable that I have a fully booked out quester for some reason. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe there'll be a cool reason to use them in Hydra or something. Probably not, but you never know. And then I come back here, do it again. Faction number 2 is High Elves. All right, so that's what we do. No, not dwarves, just High Elves. Go up here, rank by rarity. Start looking again. So again, now we have a 5-star Andalia, and she's just ready to be fused, which is great. But let's look for... all these new masked elves look like Sylvan Watchers to me sometimes. I want to build this guy, Ethlin the Golden. I actually do want to build him. I think he's kind of cool. I want to try him out. All right, so we've got a couple of interceptors. Interceptor is not a particularly good champion, but let's go ahead and get her booked out. We'll do the same with Adjudicator here. And we'll do the same with, I think this one's fully booked out. Yeah, so we can actually get rid of this Avenger here. This El Hain can be fed. This Apothecary can be fed, I think. Actually, no, these might be, these are Faction Guardians. That's why they're in the vault. So we don't want to do that. So I don't need to pull her out. And I can put her back, actually. Oops. Oh, that's annoying. You can't open I forgot you can't open the vaults when you do that. Okay. So again, we go back into the tavern. Go to the second faction. Yeah. So on and so forth, forever and ever. Got to do that for all 15 factions. Let's see, how many spots did we actually clear out here? So we've got 13 now, 11 and 7. So we cleared out about 10, I think. But anyway, that's how I do it. So if you're ever curious about how to do like a vault cleanse or a roster cleanse, you know, you do want to come in here and check out your faction guardians, just make sure that you're covered. But I should be covered like, oh, not covered there. Let's do that. Sweet. Oh, that's right. I need to max him out. I should have some more of these. Yes. Good. Glad I did this. It's been a while since I've been in here. I don't think I have more. Yeah. All right. And then Shadowkin should be maxed. Dwarves are all maxed. Knights Rev are maxed. I usually do my legendaries right away, so I don't think I'll have any duplicate legendaries. You know, like I think all of those are already in there. Yeah. All maxed out. All maxed out. Sometimes I see other content creators in this space and they don't have any rares. They don't have any faction guardian rares, and I'm like, yeah, why do you need rares, right? You don't need rares. You don't even care about rares when you're at endgame. I do. I mean, other than secret room rares and maybe an occasional faction crypt rare, like you don't care, especially if you've spent thousands of dollars on the game. Right now, I think we do have a dragon turn attack thing going on, so I could go for some resources here, I guess. I need to summon my champions. Gives me just enough spots to summon my champions. What else do I need to do? Champions level in the tavern. All right, let's get all those. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, we need to do a Hydra key, faction war stages without losing champions, silver keys in the Doom Tower. So, faction wars. Let's do that. ILs. By the way, if you're curious about like, you know, faction crypt teams and stuff like that, definitely let me know. Because, all right, so like for instance here, this is this is actually a pretty good team, you know. But this was literally probably like my first 5 high elves or something. other than El Hain, who was my starter champion. So I think originally El Hain was in here instead of Royal Guard, but it was those 5 champions. But now I've got a lot of options. Got a lot of other options. Kind of want to put Islan in there just to see him, but it would slow down the run. But you know what? Whatever. Let's do that. That's not great. That's not great. Why don't we do... I'll do this. Let's just see how he does. We'll just fire him up. All right, let's see what people are talking about. So faction guardians work by, when you get duplicates, you put the 2 copies into the sparring pit in the faction guardian's ring, and then it gives that bonus. And you have 5 sets, so you can put up to 10 champions there. They need to be pairs. You could put the same champion in 10 times. That would be fine. And then you get each consecutive bonus. The bonus only applies to champions of your faction of that rarity. So the rares, the high elf rares boost high elf rare stats. So that's basically all you get out of that. If you have legendaries, you can boost the legendary stats from that faction. And it applies everywhere. So it applies completely across the board. So it would help you in campaign, and it would help you in, clan boss, and it would help you in Doom Tower. Helps you everywhere. Tonk says, yeah, you don't bother with faction guardians for rares. You can see I have several hundred rares collected. Did I see your suggestion to go to faction guardians? No, I think I did that. I did that. But yeah, you can also use that. If what you're saying is you can use that as a place to see where you have multiple copies, then that's true. Because when you go in there, you say, oh, I've got 4 copies of Apothecary. So then you can go into your vaults, pull out all the copies that you don't need, just keep the 2 that maybe you do want, and then use the rest as books or chickens. So yeah, you can do that. Crashdown is winning the Dragon tournament. All right. I don't know how. It takes me like 5 minutes to run Dragon 20. Yeah, but sometimes, depending on where you are in the game, and I'm assuming this is on your noob versus pro account, that, players just either aren't there at 20, so it's taking them 5 minutes to clear 17 or something. And then, or it could just be your commitment to it. I mean, sometimes you get lucky with your tournament pools. If you don't win tournaments for a while, you kind of get easier tournament pools. Used 450 energy today on Dragonheart and got 2 pieces of speed gear. Yeah. Yeah. I think the last 2 times this event has happened, I've gotten no speed gear and I've spent thousands of energy. On this one, I've already gotten like 4 pieces. So it's just, sometimes it's just the RNG of it. Shooter says it will be similar to a fusion. I think if you're talking about the Titan event is very similar to a fusion. It's extreme. It's basically a fusion in a different format, right? Okay, so that was pretty easy. It's not my best time ever, but it's close. So I don't know that Apothecary sped me up anymore, which makes sense, right? Islan does a little bit more than Apothecary. So let's go ahead and do this one again. Shooter says, I realized today that the tournament I use in Arena for half a year at least didn't have masteries. Whoops. Use the opportunity to do a nice regear on top of farming the masteries. Yeah, that's good. But you think this event will be a bit easier? Steam Shadow asks, if you're talking about the Titan event, I don't know that the Titan event will be easier than the fusions. It may be. It may be that they ease up on the inflation a little bit, because it feels like one of the things that they're trying to address is player dissatisfaction. I think they are. I think Plarium has already, before the No Dime December, I don't want to attribute any changes in what's going on to No Dime December. It hasn't happened yet. But I think for the last 6 months, Plarium's been moving in a direction to try to address player concerns to some extent. They talked about, again, in the Cirilla interview, things like, quality of life issues, buffing champions that they haven't done in a really, really long time, and dropping new content. Now, I think that response was primarily prompted by the community's kind of universal rejection of primal shards. Everybody hated primal shards. We didn't like, we were okay with the mythic champions, I think, in general, but we were not okay with the primal shards. Definitely the price point. And the whales got really mad. And as soon as the whales got mad, Plarium came to the table and started talking. Now, some of those moves had to be planned, but like the PR push that happened, I think, was a response to the fact that whales stopped spending. So are they moving in a decent direction? Right now, the last month or so, a little bit longer, has been better than the previous 6 months, in my estimation. Not enough. Definitely not enough. And they're not moving at a pace that is satisfying. And they're not engaging with the community in a way that is satisfying. And I think in addition to doing things that have been nice for the community, they are still pushing the pain points. They're still like, every time we do something nice for you, you got to pay us for it. So the level of greed has not diminished at all. They're just trying to sort of put the lid on the boiling pot, right? Like there's a boiling pot and it keeps boiling over and the top is, making a racket. And they're just like, all right, we just got to take the top off, throw an ice cube in and slam it back down, or whatever. Like it cools off for 10 seconds and they're like, great. That's where we want it. We want it just close to an immediate boil. We want it just about to explode, but never explode. But the fact of the matter is you can't keep people at that level of tension for very long before they just start rejecting the whole concept, before they just walk away. And they're like, I don't need to be here at all. Why am I on a stove? Like, why is everything got to be hot and painful? Like, it doesn't have to be. But that's their business model. Their business model is just give us enough, just enough to keep us satisfied, just enough to keep us from walking away. And then they believe the inconvenience in the game will prompt spending. So make things inconvenient, make things frustrating, make things slow. And then every time we hit something that's inconvenient or frustrating or slow, we'll spend to get past it. And that's just an awful model. It's just an awful economic model. It's not sustainable in the long run. It really isn't, for individuals or for companies. And it's not necessary. It's not necessary to do it. Especially if their game was mediocre, then I'd be like, okay, at least it's a cash grab and it. And they're just trying to hit as hard as they can, as fast as they can, and walk away. But Raid's a good game. So it doesn't make sense. Like those two pieces of the puzzle don't fit together. If it was a cash grab, why did you make such a good game? Right? And why did you employ such talented people? Right? Like the game is incredibly complex. They always crush the art design on the champions. They have really good people designing the game, at least in some areas. So why not just make it a more valuable asset by changing the mentality from a cash grab into a long-term investment? Invest in your player base, invest in the future, invest in longevity, and you will make money for a long time. I mean, World of Warcraft isn't what it was 15 years ago, but it's still here. And there are people still employed and there are people still making money and the investors are still happy. And it's weird because it's like they're almost victims of their own success. Like when a new World of Warcraft expansion comes out and it sells 1.3 million copies, but the previous expansion sold 1.6. They're like, they only sold 1.3 million copies. Are you crazy? 1.3 million copies of an expansion for a game that's how old now? Decades old? That's an incredible amount of success and longevity. So I'm not saying Raid is ever going to be WoW. It's not the same kind of game. But what I'm saying is that is an economic model, right? That to some extent says to the players, we're going to put a lot of effort into pleasing you. Because whatever you want to say about WoW, they pay attention, right? They pay attention. Their game is constantly in development. And whenever a new game in the genre created a new mechanic, like a new system or a new way of envisioning the MMO that players gravitate towards, WoW just stole it. They were just like, that's a good idea. We'll use that. Right. And they just added it to their game. And then players went from whatever game they were in, and they're like, I'm going to go back to WoW. Well, now WoW's doing this thing. Like, oh, now they've got area loot. Oh, now they've got, like dungeon queues. Oh, now they've got better PvP. Oh, now they've got, constantly updating and improving the game. Why? Because it makes them money. Right? They're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They just recognize that they'd rather be in a cooperative relationship with their players than a combative one. And a lot of games do it. A lot of games do it. But gacha games typically don't. All right, we did all right here. I think we've got another faction to go. Is it Ogren today? I think without a healthy stack of shards, you shouldn't be expecting to reach Torment. I think that's probably true. In the last fusion, you needed 6 or 7 sacred shards to do it. So I would assume you're going to need about that many again. Now, what they might do is they might actually split it up and do it like champion chase and summon rush kind of thing, different times, more like a traditional fusion, in which case it might not be all sacred shards. It might be like you need, 70 ancient shards plus 5 sacred shards or something. Could be like that. You're trying to get the Lego book on champ training and you've got 600 points left and we'll play for 1 more hour. If you've got brews, you're done. If you can do that, you've got brews, you're close. All right, let's see what's our other faction crypt today. Yeah, it is Ogren crypt. All right, let's check out my team over here. Yeah, this is actually probably most of my good Ogrens, yeah. So like these are my only 50s and 60s. I just have these 3 360s and then 250s. And Grush is solid. I actually think I might have stripped some gear off of these guys. Now that I think about it, I should look just to make sure. I might have recently stripped Grush or something of gear. I recently rebuilt my man-eater. I got to remember that for next time I need to glyph somebody out. I did that for the trunk eater video I did earlier last week. No, everybody's got. Oh no, here we go. It was Gerptuck, and it's regen gear. I don't really need regen gear on Gerptuck, do I? I mean, I don't really need Gerptuck. I could put somebody else. I could put Prundar in there, or I could put Seize in there. I could put Gear Grinder in there. I could put Skull Crusher in there. I mean, I don't need this guy. But since he's mostly built, let's go ahead and say we did this, and then what? Sure, let's do that. What does that give us? 150 he's moving it. You're moving slow, Gerptuck. All right, let's do that. And guess what? We'll give you a little more speed. And we'll give you a little more defense. Probably don't need it, but may as well have it. All right, let's do a super raid. I have a feeling this is a slow fight. Because my Bellower is very slow. I think it's, well, I guess not very slow. He's a one-shot campaign farmer. So you know, you only need to run it like 105 or something, 106. And I think he is probably running at like 150 or 60, just because it's hard to get that slow sometimes. But so he's hitting decently hard. Siege Hulk is insane for Ogren. He's really good. Siege Hulk is absolutely insane. I think mine is only 4 stars right now. Tribute asks, when you gear cleanse, what do you focus on for each thing? I'll take notes. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, gear cleanse is about, to a certain extent, matching up the sets to the roles that those sets typically go on, and then also understanding what you currently have in your like storage, I guess. Right. So for instance, let's say I had crit rate gloves. Crit rate gloves don't mean the same in every set. So they're good in speed, they're good in lifesteal, they're good in, you know, offense. They can be good in defense, they can be good in like they can be good in a lot of sets, but there are some sets where you don't need crit rate gloves. So, you know, then it becomes a question of, if I don't need them in a set, can I just ditch them? Yeah, okay. Now let's say they're in a good set. Let's say it's in lifesteal. Okay, but I'm at Endgame. I don't use a lot of lifesteal. So crit rate gloves in lifesteal, I'm like, one, it's not valuable to me because I should have crit damage gloves instead of crit rate gloves. And then 2, it's in a set that I barely use. So I would probably ditch even like 6-star crit rate gloves, even if they had like good substats, because I almost don't need them. Now, there's a chance that I could use lifesteal on like a faction wars champion. So if I know that I have a faction wars champion like that, then I might hold on to it and roll it up and see if it rolls well. And if it does, I'll put it on that champion and I'll just be done with it. But if I'm doing a gear cleanse and I look around and I'm like, I don't have anybody to put this on, then I just trash it. Usually, you're looking for stats that synergize with the stats that the sets give you. So I'll go over that in just a minute, but that was fine. That was fast. So what I mean, like, is let's say you're doing perception. Perception gives you speed and accuracy. So the substat rolls you typically want are speed and accuracy. Now, what do you want for the gauntlets? Do you want crit rate? Do you want crit damage? Do you want HP percent, defense percent, attack percent? It's like, well, probably not attack percent unless you're going for a bomb champion. HP percentage and defense percentage are very good in perception on gauntlets. So is crit damage, especially with crit rate substats. There are a ton of damage dealers who also land buffs or do other things. So think about Wukong, right? Like if you had perception set for Wukong, as it means he's more likely to strip buffs and do what he, you know, needs to do. Same thing with like, you know, I mean, there are a ton of damage dealers who have a debuff somewhere, like Herndig, right? Like you want Herndig with accuracy. Especially for a PvE nuker, not necessarily always for a PvP nuker, because the PvP like accuracy you're going to need in a lot of cases is really variable. Whereas PvE is very predictable, so you can decide where you put them and what accuracy you need. So if you're coming up against Hydra Nightmare, you're like, okay, I need 275 accuracy or whatever it is, or else I'm not going to land it. So you can say, well, I can hit it or I can't. And if I can't hit it, don't try. And if I can hit it, great. You know, so it's that kind of scenario. But so yeah, in perception, I want speed rolls. I want accuracy rolls. I may want crit rate rolls. I may want resistance rolls. I may want HP percentage and defense percentage rolls, depending. So that's a set where I need to keep a lot of different pieces. And let's say I don't have an HP gauntlet right now. I might pick one up let's say I only have one and it's not stellar, but it's my only one. I'm going to hold on to it. Now, let's say I'm talking about Savage. Savage is a completely different scenario. Another great set. But the thing about Savage is it doesn't have a stat. There are no stats in the set. So in that case, like, can you use it on an HP based damage dealer? Absolutely. Defense based damage dealer? Absolutely. Right. So what are things that are like more valuable now? Well, now, you know, the defense percentage chest and HP percentage chest are really valuable in Savage, as is the attack percentage chest, because that's going to allow you to maximize your damage. And you might not normally think about like HP percentage or defense percentage on, like, let's say the offense set, you know, or again, maybe like the lifesteal set, like other damaging sets that focus around attack. You don't, like the fatal set, you don't really care too much about HP percentage or defense percentage on those chest pieces. What about the boots for Savage? Well, now you need HP percentage boots, you need defense percentage boots, you need attack percentage boots, and you need speed boots, right? You need all four for the Savage set. That's not really true of every set, right? You definitely don't need all of those for, you know, I don't know, like the resistance set. You know, you don't probably need attack percentage boots on a resistance set. So it's really like, you know, there's a whole lot of calculations there, and it depends on your roster and what pieces of gear you've already rolled, you know, and, you know, so sometimes a gear cleanse is more about rolling and then selling pieces that don't roll well than it is about like the piece, the naked piece, or like the unleveled piece. And sometimes it's entirely based on the pieces that you currently have. If you have 7 crit damage gauntlets with crit rate substats that have been rolled in Savage, you're like, well, that's awesome. Congratulations. You might not need many more, right? I mean, on my whole roster, I don't think I have more than 10 damage dealers that I built. So, you know, you don't need everybody in Savage. Other champions do better in other stuff. You know, and there's the crit damage set, and there's the, what's the set here? Lethal. There's the lethal set, you know. So yeah, so if I go and do a gear cleanse, like I'll just show you real quickly. I don't know that I could use a cleanse. But so the first thing I might do for a cleanse is I might just look at flat stat stuff. So I'll look at these 3 pieces and I'll say, do I have any flat stat stuff here? HP, attack, and defense. And I do. I have a few pieces. Now, in order to keep a flat stat chess piece, say, I need to have a champion in mind that doesn't need the main stat for some reason. So I have flat attack here, speed and crit rate. This could go on a faction crit attack-based damage dealer. It's only 5 stars. Realistically, where I am right now, this is a sell. I should sell this. All right. Let's look at the speed. Here we've got speed, accuracy. Sorry. Speed, accuracy, crit damage, defense on HP. Like, if all I care about is speed on somebody, like Arbiter, this, like if I got a quad roll here into speed, it would have to be something like a triple roll or a quad roll into speed. Again, it's 5 stars. Probably not. I don't know why I have this piece. Probably not valuable. But if I weren't sure, the first thing I would do is I just go ahead and, all right, let's roll. It didn't hit speed. It's not going to be a quad roll. Maybe if I were desperate, I could roll it one more time and see if I could get a triple roll. But chances are I'm not going to get it. So this is a sell. All right, now this piece, this is flat HP. It does have defense percentage, speed, double roll. This is in a regeneration set. Now, flat HP in a regeneration set is not awful. It's not what you want. You want HP percentage. But especially if I look at, so let's take this off and just say, let's just look at chess pieces in the regeneration set. Because my guess is I'm just short on good chess pieces. So here's defense. This is the flat HP. Defense, one percentage, resistance, accuracy. Here's another HP percentage. So I only have 2 HP percentage chess pieces, and neither of them have speed. This is flat HP, but I got a double roll in speed, and speed on regeneration matters. So that's my guess, is that's why that's sticking around. And in fact, I'm going to hold on to this. Right? There may be a reason for this. There's definitely a champion that I could put. It could be a temporary piece that gets moved around a lot. It could be a filler piece on a, faction crypts champion. But it could potentially, like this almost went on my Annabelle, right? My Lady Annabelle. And if speed were really important, let's say I had more HP than I really needed, which I kind of do on my Lady Annabelle, but I needed more speed. This could be a piece that gets swapped in. And I could keep this piece forever. This piece might not be a filler piece. This piece might go on a key champion and be good enough for that. But if it were 5-star, I would trash it. Right? Because I need the substat rolls to be big and I need the main HP stat to be as big as possible. Now, I would trash it because of where I am in the game, not because a 5-star piece couldn't fulfill the same role that we were just talking about. Like, so if you're in mid game, maybe if this is a 5-star piece, it's a very good piece for you. So it does matter how it rolls. Now, one of the things I could do is I could go in here and start rolling up some of these, and see where the substats land in terms of rolls. But none of these chess pieces are great. There's a reason why this chess piece is really holding on. I don't have a single great. I don't have one. I don't have one great regeneration chess piece right now. This is actually my best regeneration chess piece. All right, so that, you do that. Now, another thing that you can do is you can look at sets that you have that you don't use frequently. So you'll notice I have no offense sets. I just sold everything. I don't have any life sets. I sold everything. If I want to go to equipped, I'll find some pieces. I can find pieces. Even like here, there's like a 3-star piece that's probably on a, like on a Vault Guardian. I mean, somebody that I put that piece on that champion 2 years ago, and I've never used that champion, so it's just sitting there. But, so you have pieces like that. That can happen. Sometimes you have good pieces. Like here's a decent piece, here's a decent piece. This is actually on a champion I use. But I don't save any of these pieces anymore. I don't need them. Because there are better pieces. There are better sets. So instead of the offense set, if I wanted something that was offense related, I could come down here and do, maybe kill stroke. I could come down here and do lethal. I could do maybe swift parry. These are all attack based. Even just like divine offense, I could do that. You'll notice I don't have a ton of these pieces either. And all of these pieces are going to have something that they're sticking around for, right? Attack percentage, crit rate percentage, crit damage percentage. If they don't have crit rate, they're not going to probably be here. Yeah, every single piece has crit rate. Every single piece. And you can flip that on its head. You can say, what about like, all right, like here's a destroy set, right? This is not a bad set, but it does something very specific and you don't need a lot of these sets. So all of the pieces that I save are usually very good pieces. I could probably get rid of some of these. The reason that HP percentage is there is probably because it's, I don't have that many chess pieces. Right. But I could roll these up and I could see where they landed. Typically for destroy, if you don't have crit rate, you don't keep it. Sometimes you can see like this one here, speed, attack, crit damage, defense. I should probably sell that. In fact, I'm going to sell that. But let's see. All right, like this one, crit rate, resistance, accuracy. Like I might just be holding on to this because I don't have that many helmets and I might need the crit rate on a destroy set. Savage, I'm going to have a lot more. I'm going to keep a lot more marginal pieces, a lot more 5-star pieces. Unfortunately for this, like you can see all these chess pieces that I have, there are very few good ones, but they all have crit rate as a substat. This one doesn't. Every other one does. No, that one doesn't. That one doesn't. So I have 2 6-star legendaries that don't have it, but they're both attack percentage chess pieces. So, but I don't cleanse Savage as often, right? Because when you need Savage, you want as many pieces to choose from to potentially get the stats that you need. Same thing with the Relentless. I have a ton of like really marginal Relentless gear. You look at pieces like, okay, this has nothing on it. There's nothing good about this piece. That should probably go. But that's, it's hard to even let go of those because if they have anything, if they have anything at all, you want to hold on to them. You know, this one has accuracy and resistance. This one has crit rate and crit damage. This one has crit rate and accuracy. This one has crit rate and crit damage. You know, so it's like, okay, doesn't have speed. You know, there's like no good pairing here. And speed is hugely important on a Relentless set. But sometimes you just need one piece to flush it out. So I hold on to Relentless. I hold on to Savage. But then I look at sets I don't use very often, like Frenzy. I've got one piece of Frenzy gear. And it's because I triple rolled into speed. And I probably had that sitting in the vault for 8 months. I don't know who to put it on. It's a crit rate gauntlet. It's not a crit damage gauntlet. It's just triple speed. So it could potentially go on somebody who just needed a lot of speed. But I could probably sell this and I'll never feel the lack, you know? It's kind of, I think it made me mad when it rolled. I remember that. Frost could use a little bit of a clean out. You can see I don't need these rare shields. Let's get rid of those. Doesn't even matter if they're good. I have, you know, maybe 2 or 3 people in Frost sets ever. 6-star speed boots can be good. And, you know, I have attack percentage boots here with speed and crit rate. So if I needed like a broken set piece, you know, those might fill the need. I'm trying to build a cursed set. I was so mad. I went and cleared out all my curse. I did a gear cleanse like 6 weeks before they changed the sets. And I cleared out all my curse. And I had saved all these legendary pieces that had like perfect stats. And I had to do this gear cleanse. And I was just so frustrated with the set. It was such an awful set. And finally, I just cleared it all out. I mean, some of the pieces were rolled up. And I was just like, I'm never using this set. I'm getting rid of all of it. And then like 6 weeks later, they changed the set. And I was like, no. I was like, no. That was such bad timing for me. Yeah, this has got to go. There's no reason for that. Attack percentage with crit rate is fine. Accuracy in a lifesteal set. What? Why do I have this? Why did I roll that to 16? I wonder if that was the chess piece I had on Seer. I bet that was the chess piece I had on Seer. I was running her in a lifesteal set for a while. Like when I first got her, I didn't really have a lot of good gear. And I think I put this on her because I figured she'd need accuracy to like strip the buffs off of the enemy. But you really don't even care about the buffs on the enemy because they don't get a turn most of the time. Yeah, I can get rid of that. Yeah. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else left to do? So I hope that was helpful. I'm not up for a full gear cleanse right now. Let's do some Doom Tower. Let's see. I want to do Dark Fae, but I don't have a full auto team right now, and it's only 45 minutes from server reset, so I'm going to farm Celestial Griffin instead and go back and check out chat. See you, Mayhem Monkey. He's probably already gone. Why do I sell perfect stat pieces, though? I have more gear than I could ever possibly use. If it's perfect stats in the wrong set, whatever. I mean, it's, you know, you get a lot of good gear in this game and very few perfect pieces. But the value of a perfect piece is like so much better when it's in a set that's usable for the role that it's built for. And so I think if I had more time to spend in the game doing gear rerolls and cleanses and moving gear around between champions and all that stuff, that I would probably have better gear overall. It's one of my least favorite parts of the game. It's an incredible amount of maintenance. It sucks up a lot of time and energy, and I don't enjoy it. And so I've gotten very, very cold about it. If I have any doubt about a piece, I just burn it. I don't even care. I just burn it. I know the pieces that I'm looking for. I know how I like to play, and I know what gear I need. And when I see it, I know it. And if it's not that, I'd rather have the silver. If they gave me 1 billion silver for free tomorrow, like I would roll up all of my pieces and trash everything that wasn't perfect. Like that's what I would do. And I would run through the whole billion silver. Like I have no doubt I would run through the entire thing. They could give me 1 billion silver tomorrow and I would just like all it would do was enable a real gear cleanse. That's all it would do. I sell pieces because silver is more important than pieces. That's how stupid my gear system is. You know, not because that's the way it should be, not the way that that's how it has to be. Players can be better at doing that and they can invest more energy in it. But silver is like crazily tough to get. And all the ways that you get it are slow and grindy. And it's like the game is so grindy anyway. So, you know, I'm busy. I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff. I have 2 careers now. You know, I got a wife and a family and all that stuff. So the thing that I allow myself some leeway with is gear. And my gear system isn't perfect, but I don't care. I'm totally happy with it. I'm totally happy with it. And I do think like theoretically, I understand it very well. I know exactly what needs to happen. So the good news is I can move pretty quickly when I need to, but man, it's frustrating. Some of your best builds include broken sets. Yeah. Okay. Wentworth Tanner says, I'm 67 days in, stuck in Clan Boss until I get better champs. What should I work on while I wait? Dungeons. Dungeons are good. Arena is good. Faction crypts are always good. In terms of progressing your account, I would target 2 or 3 champions that you want to take to 60. And then everybody at 60 should have full masteries. So if you don't have full masteries, you can optimize your champions by getting the masteries. So what I would say is optimize your champions and then find places to use those champions to get progress in dungeons, in arena, in Doom Tower, in faction crypts. Alex says, like the video. Please do like the video. And by the way, yeah, if you haven't watched my videos for today, I released 2. I know they're monster videos. I apologize for them being so long. I think it's a very important topic and I wanted to cover it as well as possible. I still kind of struggle with keeping videos short. I'm still learning, but you know, but yeah, if you could support those videos, you know, spread them around, make sure that you comment. Engagement on the comments helps. And, you know, the first 24 hours is really the most important. In fact, the first 6 hours is the most important. So if you can get in that first 6 hour window, get a thumbs up on a video and drop a comment, even if it's just saying hello or thanks for the video or, you know, whatever it is that you want to say. Or if you have a bigger comment, feel free to add to the conversation. But that really helps out. And yeah, like I did mention earlier in the stream, I think my first collab is coming up. So that's really exciting. And I'd like to do it well and make sure that it's a mutually beneficial experience and a fun experience. And yeah, and I'll let you know more about that as it develops. All right. Doing all right on Griffin here. Oh, I do need to use my gold keys as well. I need to move up the floors. Yeah, first collab. Yeah, I think, you know, it's kind of interesting. I think that for myself as a viewer of content creators, like as, you know, I watch the other content creators, but before I became a content creator, I spent a lot more time watching them than I do now. I don't have as much time to watch other videos. So my raid investment is in making videos now rather than in watching videos. But for like a year, I probably watched 2 to 3 raid videos a day. You know, somewhere in the vicinity of like an hour to an hour and a half worth of raid videos a day. And so now I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, okay, first of all, I understand content creation a lot better. I understand what it takes. I understand the challenges of it a lot better, but I haven't actually talked to any content creators. I haven't had a single conversation with another content creator. J Gigs very nicely shouted me out in one of his videos, so that was really cool. MTG Jedi has commented on a couple of my videos and, you know, said encouraging things. That's really cool. I don't know whose radar I'm on. I don't know if somebody likes me or dislikes me. But, you know, I'm interested in talking to other content creators because the club of content creators, I guess, is kind of small. There are a lot of people who are like, who make some content. I don't mean that, I guess. Like that group is probably a few hundred strong. But in terms of, let's say, content creators who have done this for a significant amount of time and make at least some portion of their income from this and have been doing it for a while and all that, like there aren't that many out there. And most of them I've watched. So, you know, it's a little bit strange to like start conversations with people that you've watched, you know, for say 100 hours on screen. And they've been around, you know, at it and think, okay, well, now I'm getting on their level. I'm not there yet, but like now I'm getting to the point where maybe they're interested in talking to me. It's very cool. It's very cool. Now, part of me recognizes it's just gamers. Like I love talking to other gamers. My Discord community is really fun. I don't get to engage as much as I would like, but the Discord community is really fun because every day I can kind of scroll through and see a couple of conversations. I can pop in and say, you know, something about it or ask a question. But I just like gaming conversations, theory crafting, you know, commiserating about stuff that makes me mad, whatever it happens to be. You know, and gamers can be really funny, you know, like we have all our inside jokes and our own language. And so I think at the heart of it, that's what I'm most excited about. I just want to, you know, nerd out with somebody else about Raid for like a half an hour and be like, all right, this is what we do. And, you know, have it be somebody, maybe a content creator I can talk to a little bit about content creation would be fun. But, you know, when I used to watch the content creators and they would do a collab, a lot of times I'd be like, why are you doing a collab? Like you just did a video, like it's just a video you could have done by yourself. Right? It's like you did a topic. It's just a video you don't. Why did you pick this particular content creator? Now, sometimes it would be like, you know, Deadwood Jedi is coming on Hell Hades and they're going to talk about the new, you know, unkillable clan boss speed tune that everybody's talking about. It's like that made sense because Deadwood Jedi is the clan boss guy, you know, or Nubkex would talk about Hydra, or you'd bring in, you know, YST to talk about his, you know, Bommel one-shot team or whatever. Like that makes sense. But then, you know, why did you bring on this content creator to just, I don't know, talk about, you know, your favorite champions? Like, who are the 5 champions you think are most underrated? Like, why do you need to have a collab for that? And then I realized, oh, it's just fun. It's just fun. Yeah, it's just fun. You didn't have to bring this guy on to talk about that thing, but why not? Why not make it a conversation as opposed to me just talking to you for a half an hour? The two of us can talk together and laugh and have fun and like share things and maybe like prompt ideas that the other one didn't have. Even if it's just like, oh, I use this champion. You're like, I never used that champion. He's like, really? He's great. And it's like, really? He is. You know, and then you're like, oh, so it's fun to learn. It's more theory crafting. It might open up your audience to a perspective that you don't have because you've never thought of it. You know, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense now. But it's funny because I used to be like, collab videos are kind of like whatever. And now I can't wait. Like, I'm so excited to do some, you know. All right, Hydra key. Last thing. Where do we want to do, brutal or hard? That's the thing. That's always the question. Where do we stand in Hydra Clash right now? All right, we're not. Maybe we're in it. The thing about this is if I do brutal, it'll end before the server reset. But if I do hard or normal, it might last longer than the server reset. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have to use a Hydra key, but I kind of don't want it. Let's just fire it up, see what happens. Crashdown says, your day will come. You'll be talking to the other guys eventually. Yeah, I hope so. I think, to some extent, success in this forum requires, or maybe even comes down to, kind of just determination, like the commitment to make it work. You just have to keep grinding. It's just like the game. You just have to keep grinding, right? I mean, we don't even have 3,000 subscribers yet. That, on a personal level, bothers me because I'm working my tail off. And I'm trying to make really good content. And I think sometimes I look around and I see content creators who have more subscribers than I do. And I don't think that their videos provide as much as mine. But I also recognize that everybody has a different style, and maybe my style isn't as appealing to a wide audience. I don't know. There are things that I'm still learning about it, but I'm like, man, we got 500 new subscribers in the month of August. And then we got 460 new subscribers in the month of November. It's like, why hasn't that number gotten bigger? It's basically the same number for the last 3 months. And, so I haven't changed much, but it feels like, exposure would help, right? Getting seen by a wider audience. Now, my average viewer, my average views per video has gone up a little bit on the top end of things, or like the higher end of things, like getting to 1,800 views is not super tough anymore. Not every video gets there. But there was a point where like getting to 1,000 views was a really big deal. And now it's like getting to 2,000 views is a big deal. And that's happened in the same time frame. So there is growth. There's, improvement. But yeah, I do think success to a certain standpoint, just like if you could just suck it up and keep doing it for a year and you have quality at all, like, first of all, you'll get better over the course of a year, no matter where you started from. But if you can just live with it for a year and keep doing it, hopefully eventually you'll get to the point where at least the other content creators will have to respect the grind. They'll look at you and be like, he's trying hard. I know how hard it takes. And I know that if he's been here for a year doing this, that he's working hard. Connor Godwin says, any tips for starting out Hydra as a level 60 player? Experiment. Get 6 stars, get them in there, and experiment, right? Learn the fight a little bit, learn what the different heads do so you know which ones to attack when. Manual if you have to, but just experiment. Like if you have, let's say you have 8 level 60s, right? That gives you like, is that 12 different? No, I forget. That gives you a lot, but it gives you a lot of, I'm sorry. I was trying to do the math in my head, but I'd have to look up that formula again. I forget. So that gives you a lot of different. Yeah, I want to do it, but I forget which probability that is. But so it gives you a lot of different combos. You're like, oh, it could be, champions 1 through 6. And then you're like, or it could be like you take out 3 and put in 7, or you take out 3 and put in 7 and take out 4 and put in 8, or you take out, 3 and put in 8, and then you take out 6 and you put in 7. It's like all those different swaps. And so the group of 6, there are like dozens of different groups of 6. And you can think about the skills that you need. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you swap out one damage dealer for some other damage dealer who does the exact same thing, then obviously that's not a major swap. But experimentation is key, because what's probably going to happen for the first time you actually get like a 1 key on easy or whatever, or normal, it's going to surprise you. You're going to do like 800,000 damage, 600,000 damage, 1.1 million damage. And then all of a sudden you're going to do 7 million damage. You'd be like, what happened? I didn't do anything. I didn't rebuild anybody. It just happened. And it could be the way you started. It could be the specific combination of teams. But a lot of times what happens is you get in, like the team has to kind of ramp up and get into a rhythm, and then it will just kind of cruise control. And you can design that cruise control, but it takes a while, and it takes a big roster of champions. So the best thing you can typically do early on is just experiment and see which combination gives you the best results. And I would run each combination like 4 or 5 times. You know, like maybe you just run for the first 30 seconds, you see that it falls apart, and then you try it again and you manual the opening a little bit differently. But yeah, that's what I would do. Kaji says, first collab will give a big boost for sure. I hope so. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I do think that, you know, like obviously for me, I'll be collabing with somebody who's got more subscribers. So potentially their daily viewers might be larger. And so it might expose some viewers to me who haven't seen me before. And that would be nice. That would be nice. But I think just as importantly, it's just like, it's a learning process. I'm learning. I've never done a collab, so I hope I do it well. I'm going to, you know, try to pick my collaborator's brain a little bit, you know, prep. And then also, I think that my viewership, I think you guys would be excited to see me do a collab, especially knowing it's my first one. I mean, the support that I've gotten from our community here has been fantastic. So I really appreciate that. And I think that when you hit a milestone, whether it's, you know, my first 1,000 subs or, you know, first collab or getting into the content creator program, if that happens, I think people will celebrate with me. And I mean, I'm always genuinely appreciative of how positive the community has been in terms of supporting, you know, my growth as a content creator. It's been really cool. Even people who disagree with me often do it in a really, really nice ways. You know, they'll be like, I just disagree with you, but I love your content, man. And I'm like, thank you. That's great. And I disagree with you, but I appreciate the fact that you commented and you're supporting and you're watching the videos and you felt comfortable enough to disagree with me in the comment section, because you should be. Like, that's how I want my channel to work. You should never feel like if you disagree with me, I'm going to be like, well, I'm the content creator and I know better. It's not going to happen. I have learned so much from my viewers in the few months that I've been doing this. In my live streams, in the comments, in my Discord community, I'm getting better as a player because of you guys. And I just want to turn around and return the favor and help you get better as players, you know, because of my experience. Alex says, I'm still struggling with Hydra. It's a rough curve for me. Yeah, it is. It is. I would say, you know, the things that you can look for that might help. If you have a provoke champion, you know, you're going to want a highly reliable provoke champion. If you can get an AoE provoke champion or somebody who does that, like, that's great. But if not, just any provoke champion that can potentially help you start off the fight in the right way and handle the... Which head is it? Despair, Torment, somebody, whatever. I'd have to look in game. Yeah, so it's not the Wrath, it's not Mischief. I don't think it's Torment. Torment is the fear one. I think it's the head of Despair. Or whatever. But so provoke will help. Understanding how the Mischief head works is really important. If you can get either a cursed set of gear or a hex champion, that'll really help you make life a bit easier. It tends to be good to have like an AoE damage dealer and maybe a single target nuker, so you could like play around with that. You need some sustain, you know, you need a way to handle all the buffs and the debuffs. So you can use a block buffs debuff, or you can use a buff strip. Not everybody, but a lot of players should have Wukong. So Wukong can really do good work for you there because he brings both. He can strip the buffs and then block the buffs. Plus do damage. You know, there are fears like Head of Torment is like a problem. Head of Torment is an issue, and there are really, you know, two ways to solve the Head of Torment. You need a veil, because I think if you're under a veil or a perfect veil, you won't get feared, or you need a Shamail, Inquisitor Shamail, who will remove it, or potentially, you know, you can go with some other kind of wonkier, like more like trickier, not wonkier, but trickier solutions. you can have Doom Priest can help. She can be a cleanser for that fear potentially. There are ways to handle it, but you just need to recognize that like certain heads are always going to give you problems. Other heads are not. Get your sustain from somewhere, whether it's a set or a champion or, like a debuff, like leech, and then manual in ways that make sense. So right now, like we have this head down, you do more damage to that head. So I want to target that head. If I can get the other heads low, you want to know how to handle like the head of wrath here and the counter so that you don't one shot your team accidentally. So every head has sort of its own solution, and you want to look for champions that do good things, but simultaneously bring strong champions in. So if you have a champion who doesn't do anything in Hydra, but just hits hard, that can be a good thing. Or if you have a champion who does nothing but like, Doom Priest, like does nothing but cleanse and heal, that could be a good thing. Think about your blessings. Think about your masteries. Are you specializing a champion for Hydra or not? Do you have a husk and you want to build out your husk or your royal guard to give you a good Hydra damage dealing specialist? Like they're not god tier, but they're very, very good. And they're as good as it gets in terms of the epic rarity. So do you want to like build one or two champions relatively early in the game who are going to be Hydra specialists? There are all sorts of different ways to approach it. But I think the thing that, I would probably recommend the most is just get in the fight and learn it. Learn what your champions do, learn what the heads do, experiment with the champions that you already have, and don't be afraid of the fight. It's long. It's kind of, boring to run like this. But it's not boring to run when you're experimenting and trying to figure out stuff. It can be frustrating. But you want to do it. You want to do it. You want to get in here and learn it, because Mithrala is worth all of the pain. She is totally worth all of the pain. As soon as you get your Mithrala, you're going to be like, oh, right. That's why I'm here. It's just like, it's crazy good. And, you got the protection gear and the stone skin gear and stuff like that as well. And you can get soul stones and clan gold and all. I mean, the rewards are decent. The rewards are solid. But Mithrala she's the top prize. She's the grand prize. All right. Looks like I lost somebody. Somebody got swallowed. It was Cardiel, maybe. Not swallowed. Devoured. No, swallowed. Devour is devour. And then consumed, I think, is when they swallow. But all right. I don't really care about the extra damage, but we are doing a Hydra clash, so I will take the extra damage, I guess. Can we get 34 million? We cannot. Yeah, we did. Okay, 34 million. Not bad. Oh, look at that revive. I didn't even think that was coming. Head of Suffering is who you want to provoke? No. No, it's not the Head of Suffering. No, it's the... I think it's Despair. No, it's Decay. It's Decay. It was that one right there. I'll take that. 34 million's fine. Weekly, daily, passes. Let's grab these. And now I can start running. Dragon. I'll run Dragon for the rest of the night and try to get some speed gear. Yeah, I'll start running this. But all right, so that is it for me for today. Yeah, we're going to call it there. So thanks for hanging out. We got Lady Annabelle going. Hopefully I'll do a video on her when I get up to floor 90 for Bommel. And we'll definitely show her off and see if the build that we built today still stands up. It might not. I might have to tweak it a little bit, get some more defense or something. But yeah, it's going to be nice to have that Bommel solution there. I was surprised at how fast it went down today. Actually, it's like under 7 minutes. So hopefully, you know, the higher floor will only be like 10 minutes or 12 minutes. That would be totally fine with me. That'd be a great BOMMAL solution. I'm actually also going to try to build a Burn Geary on my Noob versus Pro account, see and compare the two, you know, in terms of solutions. But so yeah, we'll see how that works. Now, tomorrow's Friday, so that's just a video day, and then Sunday we do have our Noob versus Pro live stream, and then we'll have to see if we've got a collab coming down the pike. I still have to edit a video and give Sun a day off. I don't know. You'll have to ask, you know, Sun. You'll have to figure out which day you want off. Maybe you want Saturday off. Maybe you want a weekend off. Yeah. Well, you can't take Sunday off because that's Noob versus Pro.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But all right. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, and we'll see you again soon. Son, you want to say goodbye?
Have a good one, everybody.